Hello and welcome to the Clan Viki 3v3 Cup. We're going to be starting off on Gnoll Wood. Socket Puppet. Puppet of Socks. Sock Puppet. Basically, this guy over here is actually Sexy Time, and that makes me really suspicious. Because he's human, and he doesn't normally play human, so he must be trying to perform some sort of strategy that benefits their team, or is highly decided upon with their team that he has to be human, because he never really plays human. My eyes are looking really suspiciously at this guy. But anyway, we have Socket Puppet as the red human, Quest as the red undead, and Super Cumulo, who you might have seen in previous free-for-all shoutcasts that I've done, as the red human up the top here. On the east-hand side, Mr. Jazavac as the yellow human. We've got Snesko Belek as the yellow night elf, and AJK as the other yellow night elf. So 2 night elves and a human for the team yellow, and 2 humans and an undead imbalance for the team red. Night elves are getting off to an early scout, and Cumulo's catching up with his scout right about now. Gonna find his first human, which will definitely indicate where the other 2 night elves are. Alright, I'm gonna try to find out what the names are for these 2. Let's have a look. Right, so if I go to the challenge, the 3v3 Clan Viki team list. Oh, okay, so Team FML. I have to assume that stands for Fuck My Life. Is Quest, Sock Puppet, and Cumulo. So that's Team FML, who is red, so that's the red team. And Mr. Jazavac, can I find you with my eyesight? Will it do the... oh, yes. They are known as Rib 3K. RLB. I'm going to call them Rib 3K. Rib 3K is Team Yellow.
Hi.
So, I believe, if I'm looking at this... okay. It's currently Team FML versus Rib 3K. They said this is the first round, but apparently on the grid it's round 2. To be quite frank, I don't even know myself, and it's going to make it a bit of a havoc nightmare trying to sort this out in the description below, trying to work out the exact order of all of these games. I'm just going to cast what I can basically get into at this rate. Quest, bringing down the Mr. Java. Firelord. Oh, the skeleton is yours. Team Red all grouped up to go, and they look like they're ready to push, because that is 2 Firelords and a freaking Dark Ranger. Very unique strategy here. I haven't seen that before, which is kind of the fun thing with 3v3, is there's going to be different styles of strategies. More rush style strategies than you might expect from 4v4, because 4v4 typically the maps are just that much bit bigger. So it's a bit more difficult to full on just send your tier 1 army and your heroes off without, you know, being too punished. Wow, the night elves moving in there with the double detonate, so that really took care of quite a few of those fire elementals. And 1 arcane tower is up. Vital time for that to go up, because the mana on these heroes is really what makes them strong, particularly the Firelord. Without his mana, he's kind of useless. He's just an auto-attacking unit at this point. Oh my god! Cumulo's found himself stuck. Mr. Java, he's done it again. He's got the surround. 1 Firelord is going to burn in hell. The Dark Ranger looking for somewhere to run away. It's going so wrong. But there are so many footmen at the moment for Team Red. They're trying to make a difference here. But the militia obviously outweighs the odds. And another fire. Oh, no, can turn around to last hit that. The undead is starting to make more fiends, though. The imbalance should be coming through. There's no tech, so it's fiends for now. This is clearly a very strong indicator that they intend to rush with the double racks on both humans and the undead not teching, which is very unusual. So essentially, I think they really want to win the game now. We could get to a point where it calms down a little bit and they are forced to fall back and tech, but even the ghouls are being brought in to attack here. This is everything being pulled in. Double arcane. Very good move there from Mr. Is it Jazza? Jazza. Mr. Jazza. Ah, thank you, first Brochen, for subscribing. You just killed that Firelord, but I love you anyway, thank you. So the undead are trying to relocate their fiends. We've got humans up at the top here. So many militia being pulled off. They're going to have to pull some resources to Mr. Jazza, because the amount of times he's brought his militia off, quite crazy. AJK pulling back. healing up at his base, and then he's going to have to travel all the way back up to try to get over there. A lot of Huntresses are fantastic units here, though. That's going to make the difference versus mass footmen. Although if the Fiends could be massed to a high degree, the Huntresses will be much easier to keep under control with that focus fire. But the amount of footman spam is just overwhelming right now. And I don't think Jazz has got that much of a counter to this, aside from just those couple of arcane towers. It doesn't really deal with the footman too well. The tech is going through, but there's not going to be any spots for tier 2 buildings aside from on the outside for Jazza. So that's what I think Team Red, Team FML are trying to look to do, is trying to take advantage of their opponents likely taking a tech choice and probably being punished for it. It looks like Snezco's got surrounded here. Keeper of the Grove forced to TP. It's going to be teleporting over to Mr. Jazz's base. There he is. And now on the left-hand side, we have a level 3 Archmage able to put out another Water Elemental in a moment. It's going to be a level 2 Water Elemental. Pretty powerful, 31 to 39 damage. The Arcane Bolt at the top here is actually pretty handy, though. That does allow them to sort of give a bit more healing to their overall team. But the thing is that's not going to really work during these big battles because the Huntress's glaives bounce off onto other units, so that's going to knock off any scroll of regeneration benefiting units. They might still try to utilize it, but I'm telling you, those Huntresses are going to have their way with it. It looks like the Huntress mass is just taking over, which is a really bad news here for the Team FML. Sock Puppet, Sexy Time going down. You better get that Firelord back. Oh, he's at the game already. First to rage quit. That's my boy. Sexy Time. Rage quit. They tried, but they got pushed back. And as soon as those Huntresses got up to, like, 3 to 4 of them was pretty much enough to tank and block and mitigate enough damage so that more Huntresses could keep pumping out and making a difference that defense would be critical. Those Huntresses were key, and Double Night Elf are able to spam Huntresses pretty hard. Welcome to round 2 now of Copper Canyon. That's the map we're playing on. It's going to be Team A1 versus UFO 361, and it looks like we're starting off with some Undead Imbalance. Kindly brought to us by Klaus Kinski. Thank you, Klaus. Thank you, mate. So he's playing as Undead. So in Team Blue, Logoped as Blue Night Elf, Blue Undead, and the Blue Drunken Wanken. Interesting choice of name there. So I believe, if I is correct, that is Team UFO. So Team Blue is Team UFO. Team Red will be Team A1. Mr. Numbers, because I forgot whoever this guy is. I could probably locate it if I find A1 and do the logical thing, which is to go through the names and see which one he isn't. Okay, he's just known as Numbers. Literally 20150828. So he's probably known as some guy, and I don't know who he is. I'm going to call him Numbers for now until someone has a go at me in chat. So we got Believe over here as the Red Undead, and Lorliet as the Red Night Elf. Starting off with a Priestess of the Moon, so mass Huntresses for you. So we've got more of a mixed balanced team this time. Undead, Night Elf and Orc versus Undead, Night Elf and Orc. So it's a mirror match. So we're going to basically see who the best team is, because this map is pretty straightforward. It's going to be much more about combat between one another than it is versus the creeps. Because once you're done with your nearby stuff, there's like 3 creep camps in the middle total between 6 players essentially. So that's not really all that good. Orc Numbers over here has actually decided to choose a Tauren Chieftain, which if the game goes late would probably benefit them more, I would assume, than the Blade Master. But again, we'll find out as the game gets played. Death Knight Lich, most likely expected from Klaus alongside the Fiends, and Logoped going with Keeper of the Grove. So there are some differences between these players in this mirror match. Of course the Undead sticks to Death Knight though. Pretty much a must have for Undead for the most part. Okay. Some nice creep in there. Just getting a few extra bonus hits on those creeps. Every little helps. Pick it up with the Rod of Necromancy and go for broke. So we've got a Priestess of the Moon going Aura first, chasing down a Keeper of the Grove, who I have to assume has gone for Entangle. Some early harass first is the Orc player, who's just about to start creeping before a Blade Master gets in his way. Position is interesting though. So the Blade Master deliberately brought himself down to the bottom hand side, just so he can basically try to not get surrounded by those two grunts. Tauren Chieftain forced back, because he's not going to get very far here. Yeah, this is the one downside of going Tauren Chieftain. This is why I mentioned late game. Oh, he's having such a hard time getting position. This doesn't look good for Numbers. Your time's up, Numbers. You have to come back from the ult, I'm afraid, fella. Yep. Tauren Chieftain is notoriously rubbish for like the first 2 levels, but once you get to level 3 onwards, he becomes much more of a wrecking ball. So you got to watch out for that. Early on, if people put the appropriate pressure, which they have been doing so far, it does look like a really rough time for the Tauren Chieftain. But it's not a huge deal. It's one hero kill. They're not going to get too much else out of this. Some good scouting there with the skeleton, just applying some pressure to that nasty wisp nearby, trying to scout out Klaus. And he's creeping quite happily alongside the other undead over here, I believe. So those are pulling back. Now the Orc very aggressively placed Voodoo Lounge, so they don't have to run all the way back to base, because it is a pretty long distance on this map. So picking up Healing Salve, he's got Clarity and Scroll of Speed. Most likely going to keep applying the pressure, because once you've done your creep camps, like I say, there's not too much. So one of the strategies, by the looks of it, is to just apply pressure on other players. I can't imagine he's ever going to try to creep that with what he currently has. No chance. Wisp Scouts being brought down left, right and centre. It's very nice to see. Double Huntress pump from Logoped. And Logoped maybe pushing his luck a little bit with the entangles. Just trying to do some additional damage to Fiends. But there's plenty of coils to mitigate that damage. Looks like Logoped and Drunken moving towards the middle. They have been intercepted by Lorliet, but Lorliet can't take them both on. So he's going to have to be careful with his positioning here. Meanwhile, Drunken Wanken just looking for an opportunity to strike on some Fiends. Ah, interesting. The Fiends actually have the inventory slots, which I can somewhat understand on a map like this, because it's a very barren map. Once you've travelled a certain distance from your base, you are in no man's land. It's a long way to go, so if you have the units that spawn out of your base that can pick you up another Rod of Necromancy or a Dust of Appearance or even a Scroll of Healing or Bahwam, that kind of stuff from your shop, then that really helps. Smart move here, though, from Team Red, which I believe is Team A1. I hope so. Yep. Team A1. They decided, the Night Elf player decided to put his expansion next to the Undead, not only because that's like in the middle, the furthest away from all the other players, but also because it's protected by Undead Imbalance. Putting it over here would be far more vulnerable. However, I'd be impressed if these guys could stop them from destroying that expansion. Looks like they're moving in for a couple of Fiend kills, whilst Believe is trying to be prepared to defend that expansion, but unfortunately he's going to take a loss or two here, just trying to do so. They actually are pushed into the Undead base, but the Huntresses versus Fiends will favour the Huntresses for the early part, but as soon as those Fiends can find themselves in a nice spot like that, they'll pick off a Huntress, but they still take a loss on the other side. Scroll of Speed going off here for Team A1, just trying to make a move on those Fiends. So injured at the back, Klaus trying to pull them out. Tauren Chieftain trying to get in position, gets one shockwave off, takes off a Fiend. There's still an engagement going on between Believe and that Keeper of the Grove Night Elf. Lovely surround here on Klaus. That's really horrible for him. He can get out though. He's just found a way out, which is a pretty big deal there, because that would have cost him a town portal at least. 350 gold. It's nothing to be shrugged at. And the Drunken Wanken probably going to lose one grunt here. Maybe take further losses because the Huntresses can catch up with the grunts that are fleeing back. Oh, the creeps have been aggroed. The Stormbolt. Hell Boulder is what it's actually known for, this creep. Goes into effect, which was a really nasty thing to occur there for Logoped. So we've got Klaus, who's actually getting really cocky, mixed up against these grunts again. Didn't he see what happened to him last time getting surrounded? Doesn't seem to care. He's going amongst the middle of these players regardless. The position is so clunky for all these players. Oh, he's going to get surrounded. There it is. He gets surrounded for the second time. Getting too damn close. Oh, God's sake. Right, Drunken Wanken coming over here, just trying to flee. This has gone kind of terribly for a Team UFO, because this means that Team A1 has a good opportunity to creep the sweet stuff. Now, what's this Razormane Chieftain going to drop for us? Is it going to be Ring of Protection +3? Ugh. Okay, so you don't really get much in terms of items, but you do get the experience of killing the big creeps, as well as the access to the Goblin Laboratory, which obviously all players do, but you get initial access to it, so if you want to pick up a Shredder, that could be handy. But I don't know if players do pick up Shredders in these 3v3 games. I guess we'll see as the rounds continue. Tauren Chieftain being chased off there, which isn't good for his two teammates up the top here. He's forced to try to keep running back into an army of red. I'd definitely say this is definitely favouring Team A1 right now. Oh, look at that. Drunken Wanker coming in with his second hero, which is the Tauren Chieftain, trying to do some mitigate damage towards those Huntresses, but they're pulling back. One manages to escape, the other one not so lucky. Fiends stuck for Believe, but he's still able to put out more pressure onto these Huntresses than they can put onto the Fiends. So it looks really good for Team A1. The Team Klaus over here, he's trying to get back. He's doing alright. The Frost Armor does a nice job just saving that Fiend for a temporary amount of time at least. Nice burrow movement there. There's no Dust of Appearance here right now as far as I can see. Still putting on pressure. Team A1 looking very strong though. Might be moving towards their next creep camp after they've managed to push back Klaus and the others. So tech-wise, we've got Drunken Wanken up to tier 3 almost, favouring Shaman. So expect to see some Bloodlust later on, which can probably be dealt with quite comfortably by certain destroyers. Not from Klaus, because he's on that same time. Okay, yep, there we go. There goes the next creep camp. Of course, the Night Elf just focuses very heavily on Huntresses. As you can see, both Night Elves just do that, because I guess they just don't favour the Dryads or the Bear combinations enough. Huntresses are, strangely enough, a really good unit for these kind of situations, for team games. You almost never see Huntresses built in 1 versus 1 or other situations, but that's it. They are used all the time. Mass Huntress on Mass Huntress. It is getting really messy here. Unfortunately, Blue can never quite get themselves in that great position. They've got a little bit of a flank going on here, but whilst they're flanking on the left side, they've scared off Logoped, who's had to lose a couple of units. And now all of red is combined again, fighting amongst this lot. And that's the problem, it's kind of a consistent 2v3, as one player's always on the wrong side and getting pushed back. So red is all grouped up together, looking really strong. There's even additional pressure on here with the illusion, and he's gone. He managed to spot the expansion. So both the Night Elves taking the expansion amongst their undead friends in the middle of their bases. Oh, Dark Ritual, was that? On the skeleton? Yes, I think it was. Huntresses chasing Huntresses. The hunt is on. Okay. Believe. Go for it. Put the pressure onto Logoped's expansion. Only a few wisps in total in that mine. 2 of them are currently out, and they're going to go down pretty briefly. A raider coming in here. I don't think there's pillage. You'd like to think so, though, wouldn't you? Double bestiary for numbers over here, so he's going to be favouring the raiders as well as a Kodo here or there. But particularly raiders, I would assume. Ensnare is a big deal. Being able to trap enemy units, particularly in team games, can be critical, because you can just get so many free kills because of it. An overwhelming force just going ham. Oh! Tauren Chieftain. So, as we know, UFO are slightly behind in terms of the battles and the way it's gone, but there's a big but. If that Tauren Chieftain plus the Taurens work out with the Shaman, as long as they don't get too heavily countered by destroyers, which I was going to suspect would have to be created at some point. Yeah, it's a big gamble, and it's not going to pay off, I don't think. It's going to take a while to get going, especially since they're on the back foot. It's really difficult. Okay, big stomp going off there, hitting a multitude of Red's units, but Tauren Chieftain at level 4 here, just far more superior than the level 1 that's having to tear apart, run away. Nice Frost Armor use, but it's not going to be quite enough. Wow, okay, numbers being forced back here, teleporting out. Not teleporting over. The pressure is being applied here from Laureate, who knows he has the advantage. Look at the Huntress numbers. This is the micro that's been going down between these players. They're all on red, and that is not a good position. And there's no way to protect the Ancient of War. One going down, the other Night Elf happily still going to be pumping away 2 double Night Huntresses. Yep, a town portal is forced, which of course is what Laureate is looking for, because that forces that 350 gold plus having to purchase another town portal, and there isn't a shop area because there ain't many spots to put a shop without it being destroyed on a map so open as this. Okay, triple hero here for Believe. Death Knight, Lich, and the Crypt Lord. Quite powerful indeed. I wouldn't be surprised to see, like, Ring of Protection passed over to the Crypt Lord. But to be quite frank with you, the Death Knight is probably more valuable. We got some Zeppelin play going on over here. Level 4 Tauren Chieftain, 4 Raiders, and 3 Grunts about to apply some really harsh pressure on Logoped Heads, who we've already seen has had a really hard time. Those Huntresses just can't hold up, and I don't think he can teleport back to his base to defend versus it. So once again, he's going to have to call upon an ally to help him out. Okay. Look at that. All those whips going down. Logoped, no one even coming in to help out here. That base is gone. The pressure has been applied. They know he's vulnerable, and they are just finishing him off. And look at these Huntresses. Nowhere to go. Homeless and soon to be all dead. That is absolutely devastating there for Team UFO. Now basically with effectively 2 players against 3, which is kind of the way this game has felt for a lot of the battles, just because of the positioning sheerly alone. Crypt Lord, what are you going to do? Are you going to chuck out and impale? Yes, that's what I was looking for. That is the GG. The Lich gets picked off by the bloodlusted Grunt after blood, and he got it. Did you see that? That Lich, you almost thought it got away for a second, and that Grunt just gets that last hit. So that's a little bit of a payback there from UFO. They made a bit of a difference there. That went quite well, because Lorlia is over here still messing around, looking for the next base to basically wreck. So part of their strategy looks to be to try to hold as 2 players whilst the Night Elf finds somewhere to do some devastating damage to. Forcing the town portal, forcing those reactions, forcing that gold to be spent. Numbers is focus. Okay, thank you. Focus. Our Red Orc over here with his 3 Raiders and 4 Grunts, keeping it simple. Is looking to possibly defend this expansion, I would think. I don't think he's going to be standing there for too much longer. I don't think he's even got... Where's his hero? Is his hero dead? Is it on a vacation trip over here? It is. So he's up to trouble in the undead base. 1 or 2 shockwaves. He's actually going to... This is some really interesting play. He's going to just destroy the main of the undead's expansion. Whoa. I mean, I'm not sure that's exactly the right thing to do, but I mean, I guess so. I guess it's worth it because it's going to take so long for that expansion to be rebuilt. I keep calling it expansion, but you know what I mean, like the gold mine to be rebuilt. Here goes the Tauren totem again. Boom! It's gone. So hard to get a building of that caliber to stay, especially again in an open battlefield like this. It just is not going to happen. Okay, that is a big pit lord. Menacing, despite being level 1, clearly not capable of level 6. Okay, watchtowers, here we go. Oh, an unsummon is being called in just to get that expansion as fast as possible, that gold mine. Okay. This is an awkward battle. It's looking favourable towards Team UFO, but Believe is a strong player and he's slightly higher and more capable with his heroes. But he's now going up against the Orc backed up behind, so he really wants to back out of this because he's got no protection from other allies in this position, but he's overstaying his welcome. Has he actually got town portal? He has. He's trying to pick off units and get what he can, but the longer he stays there, the more he's going to get wrecked. A Tauren is actually out in the battlefield. But that's the last Tauren you're going to see because Drunken Wankin, who was producing them, I think he's lost his base. They're now down to 1 base, which hasn't even got his gold mine back up yet. This is by the numbers base race material here because obviously, you know, you might think, why aren't they town portaling? Well, it's the case of if they town portal, they reset the situation. They fall back and then they have to go and push again. Meanwhile, they're enemies are going to be getting more gold. That's Team A1. That's red. They're going to be just constantly plummeting gold in towards more units. Hi. Although the Night Elf, to be fair, won't be producing too many Huntresses at this stage. Much more likely to feed it to other players. But both, no, actually Focus can be well fed here because he's currently underneath the food cap. And if you feed to someone that's above the food cap, 50 food, they aren't going to get all of your gold. So if you give them 100 gold, they'll get 70 gold out of that 100 gold, I believe. Okay, Destroyer's a really good unit right now. Team UFO's Shaman play is going to just get weaker and weaker as the game goes on. You knew it was a gamble. You knew it was basically a temporary thing. This is kind of the... Oh, that Death Knight. Yep, the game is over by the looks of it anyway. Because there's simply one base left, which I don't know if you can really call this a base. It would be nice to see if there was a way to boost the resistance of casters. Maybe have it so that destroyers can't spam dispel and stuff like that. Because that's part of the reason why you rarely see too many caster play in 3v3/4v4 games. It's because they're very easily countered by destroyers, which you will see in abundance. Because undead imbalance. Here we go. Right, welcome to a map called Timbermaw Hold. It's quite an epic map. Some of you may remember it, particularly if you're older school Warcraft 3 players, because this map holds many memories for all of us. I think this has been updated for TFT to include a tavern, because my experience of this map is very much the case of it being a Reign of Chaos map and having very early rush style games with it, mass grunts and that kind of stuff. Back in the early days of Warcraft 3 when we were all much more simplistic. However, you can see this map has 2 green dragons at the back, which could cause a bit of controversy later on the game. So we'll have to wait and see, won't we, eh? Right then, let's have a look at the team. So this guy over here, another numbers, but he's actually Sonic. So Sonic's team is known as 3 Kings. It consists of Sonic himself playing as Night Elf, alongside Mr. Winner, the, well, Silver Human, we shall say. Silver Human, a Rubber Bullet, the Orc. Over at the top left, we have Arflord 89, Blue Undead, obviously going for Fiends, which you would expect. And Paphos, Tauren Chieftain build, Headhunters, I have to suspect, surely not a fast tech there, Mr. Paphos. Where's that barracks? There it is. And of course the Tauren Chieftain. And we've got Podro, Night Elf, Priestess of the Moon. You might expect some mass hunts. We're kind of getting used to that, aren't we? So, early scouts for both teams. Either side. You've got to be really careful when you scout on this map, because your Wisp will typically try to go through that. Although he's going towards it. I know. Why'd you do that? One more hit. One more hit from the cheeky shaman. Or even this guy. Oh, he just narrowly gets away. Now we've got aggro going on over here. The creeps on this map are not very courteous to peons and workers that would enjoy having a look at what the enemy are doing. That's something I'm used to with this map as well. So Rifleman build here with Paladin for Mr. Winner. Very curious. Oh, Keeper of the Grove for Sonic. So he's not going for Priestess of the Moon himself. So I'm curious if he's still going to go with the Mass Huntress build. Looks like it. Blade Master. So Sonic and Rubber Bullet looking for some harass. Blade Master obviously puts out a lot of damage. Even more so if his target's standing still, which is the point of the Keeper of the Grove. Entangling that target, forcing it to not be able to move whilst the Blade Master deals hell. It's particularly whilst they're creeping as well, but the creep camps on this map are actually quite plentiful, to be quite frank with you. But most of them are orange, so you're going to need to group up. It's not something you can just riskily do early on. That's actually a really critical kill here. Because you know Night Elves love to pump their Huntresses, right? I think what Sonic was looking for was just to see whether that extra building there was an Agent of War, and he knows it. Now he knows it. So you can see how much the Night Elf wants that second Agent of War. It's a really critical building. So to bring that down with relative ease, with little punishment. And the Blade Master actually probably getting away with a Tauren Chieftain kill, because there's not many ways the Tauren Chieftain can get away aside from running his own base and a scroll of speed. And he can't really keep a Blade Master away, particularly if there's a cheeky entangle. Down the Tauren Chieftain goes. He never has an easy time at the start. Expect him to die almost every single time you see a Tauren Chieftain if he's level 1. Is that Hunter? Yeah. That grunt. You need to get back now. I don't think you're going to get too much achieved. Even the Headhunters have a hard time because, again, smartly done by Rubber Bullet. Did you see the repositioning there? If he went with the initial attack when he had it on that Headhunter, he would have trapped himself in between the Fiend and wouldn't be able to get out the base. So he cleverly just repositioned, waited a moment, repositioned down, and then attacked so he could sneak out. Very nicely done there. Some good level play here. Huntresses going strong. Sonic probably not going to be taken to tier 2, but looks like Mr. Winner is. That Paladin and rifles They're focusing on creeping this, this orange camp, which actually gives 2 level 6 mobs here, you know, and 3 level 2 mobs. It's a lot of experience. I'm not so sure how good the items are, though. We'll find out shortly. But one of the other benefits of doing this is obviously having your own fountain of health near your own base is a huge deal, because it allows you to just mitigate any damage you just took whilst harassing, so that Blade Master can keep the growth and come back and heal up nicely. Of course, they've got the healing salves or the moon wells to enjoy, but right, let's see what we got. Robe of Intelligence. That's not a bad item. It's Robe of the Magi, plus 6 intelligence. That's pretty good. Although the Keeper of the Grove isn't exactly the best intelligence hero to stick that on, but still, that's a lot more entangles at least. He might even feel confident enough to go towards Treants. But what madman would, to be quite frank with you. So Arthlord really favouring into those Fiends plays. So he's gone for a slightly later tier 2, just so he can get a few more Fiends out with the extra cigarettes. That does give him a lot more comfortability to actually finish off this creep camp, though, because they need to make a comeback now. It's still early on in the game, but so far it's looking pretty strong for Team Silver over here. I believe that's 3 Kings. So 3 Kings versus Team LSM. It's not Sonic, it's Focus. Don't troll me like that. That's Sonic, isn't it? This guy. How could that be Focus? Is that Focus? Focus was supposedly the last guy, and that guy had different numbers and in a different team. So how can that be? How can they both be Focus? Yes. Next time you try to troll me, just straight up ban them. I'm just not having that. Just don't try to mess with me on this. I'm trying my best. So you keep messing with my head, it's going to make it harder for me to provide a good cast for you. So you're only trying to detrimentally damage yourself. Okay, Black Citadel being teched up to tier 3. Ghouls being produced, so maybe? Well, I don't think Frostworms. I was about to say Frostworms simply because of the cost that they require for wood. But it's still most likely going to be obsidian statues into destroyers. Huntresses. Yep. Check. Riflemen, really good actually versus Huntresses if you can get them sort of like far back enough, because they can get extra range as an upgrade at tier 2, which really helps them to sort of focus fire down Huntresses that are all messed up. Ooh, so much range here. The Huntresses are technically a ranged unit, even though they come across as melee, they are still ranged. So you've got different categories of level of range between these units. And that's nice. That's a nice little force to be reckoned with. And they're getting themselves into a position here. Huntresses up the higher ground. Slightly higher ground, as you can see. They're allowing them Team 3 Kings to move in, though, and reposition themselves. Maybe it's because they were dealing with that Blade Master, but it might have cost them a little bit here, because all of those Riflemen are pumping in here, really putting some high pressure onto the... Oh, that lovely Death Knight position with the Lightning Shield, though. Very nice. Does make him vulnerable, but look at the amount of damage he's doing over time versus all of those Riflemen. That is huge DPS. Like, I couldn't tell you the numbers, but you could tell it's doing massive critical damage. He goes down, he gets punished for it, but damn, did that do a lot. Maybe he would have been forced to TP at the last second, if he, but I suppose they want to hold out and see if they can win this fight. This still looks good at the moment for Team 3 Kings. Still lots of Huntresses out there, but it's not enough. Paphos and his team LSM are going to fall back, which isn't good because there's an expansion put right over here. Yep, that's not good. It's not good at all.
The town is under siege. A player's forces are under attack.
Okay, so we got Sonic and 3 Kings doing some lovely damage.
Hi.
Okay, so how are we sitting now? Team level 2. It's not looking great. Tier 3 is out. Obsidian statues, of course, more fiends and destroyers. Pretty straightforward, the unit archetypes. Lots of ranged, basically. You don't see too much melee, although the Orc can obviously provide melee and be comfortable doing it because their units are actually good at it. So Grunts will sit there and take up some real damage, but then again the Huntresses do too. Despite the fact that most people go range units, and the Huntresses are vulnerable with unarmored to range units. Okay. That looks like a really forced... Oh, that is just... Yeah, I mean, come on. The Kodo Beasts, the Auras, the Heroes, they're all benefiting one another. Level 4 Paladin, what is going on? he's actually providing Devotion Aura level 1 here. So he's got level 1 Divine Shield, level 1 Devotion Aura, and level 2 Holy Light. Blade Master benefiting from that Holy Light, able to stay on the front lines, just picking off units. Oh, so much damage being dealt here. He's even got little slippers of agility to benefit him. Isn't that nice? He's getting away with that. So this is just an absolute slaughter right now. This Force of Silver is just devastating. And the Spirit Walkers, the tech units, are just fantastic. Again, going to mitigate so much damage with that Spirit Link. Oh, man. This is just... This is GG. What else can I say? This is GG. That was very well dominated there by Three Kings. I mean, they knew what they were doing and they executed it very, very securely. So, well played.
Hi.
Hello, welcome to another game in the Clan Viki 3v3 Cup. Silverpine Forest is going to be the map. This one's pretty complicated in terms of everything that is offered to you. There's lots of shops. There's even a marketplace, I believe, in the middle. There's quite a lot to play with, basically. With this map, and there's plenty of red camps, that too, as well as orange camps, green camps. There's a lot going on in this map. This is definitely one of the more complicated maps. So okay, this I believe is Team Wings versus Team Shturval. Let's see if I'm saying that wrong. So Abolisher, where is he? Fella, you're going to be the last one I look at. Of course you are. Okay, he's the yellow Night Elf, and the yellow team is known as Team Wings. So Abolisher's playing as the Night Elf amongst this team. They also have Edis as the human player, and the yellow Orc known as Chiron. And then they are against Shturval team. Yep, that's the red team. So the red team is Shturval. We've got SK Hot. Yeah, he's otherwise known as Foggy, I believe. He's a popular player, and he's going to be our Night Elf resident. Going for Ancient of War for creeping. I want to see what hero he's going to get before I move on to the next player, actually. Just to determine if it's still going to be Huntresses or whether it's going to be something different. Okay, it is something different. It's Demon Hunter. I was like, when I saw that Ancient of War, being placed, I thought, yeah, something might be coming up different here. So I thought I'd hang on him for a second. And then we got his buddy back to worker, Blade Master. You pretty much expect that. Nothing too complicated here. Although fairly early War Mill. Maybe that's because they're anticipating pressure, or to apply towers to an expansion or someone else's base. SK Hot getting caught out by one of the creeps, of which there are so many. And here's our resident Undead Imbalance. Happy. Very happy to be imbalanced. He's a very, very strong player. Going with the Death Knight Fiends, as he rightfully should, because it's simply just super powerful. So you would basically do that, particularly in team games. And also for pulling back these nasty red creep camps, of which there's a Goblin Laboratory. And of course the marketplace. There's 2 of them. So if you can get some nice items killed off of these creeps, you might see them pop back up into the marketplace, something of their equivalency, and it could be quite enjoyable. We'll have to wait and see what drops though, won't we? Okay, so the Demon Hunter is already pulling. Foggy's going for it, the Ancient of War. Okay, oh, there's a Hunter's Hall, so he is still going to slip back into the Huntresses, I guess, but it's not going to be a focus on Priestess of the Moon or Keeper of the Growth to start off with. So that's the first time we've seen a Demon Hunter for our Night Elf players in these 3v3 Clan Wars or Cup Wars. So we've got Worker going through this. Got some engagement between Edis and a nasty Foggy Wisp. Once again getting caught out. He's going to have to keep rebuilding those. Yep. Make up for the losses beforehand. Okay. It's looking good. Slippers of Agility. Not the best item for Death Knight, but then again not really much is, to be quite frank with you. You don't really get many items for the Death Knight and go, wow, that works with him. He's just an imbalanced aura machine with fantastic coils. Okay, SK Hot going for the kill there. Is he going to deal with this, or is he going to maybe move on and have a little inspection on Edis, going for an expansion spot, or at least clearing it? Yep, it's by the Orc player as well. So Chiron, Tauren Chieftain super late by the looks of it, unless he got picked off, but I don't think so. I think it's just very, very late Tauren Chieftain, so he can get more headhunters built. As you see in the previous games, the Tauren Chieftains got killed. Typically, the Night Elf does tend to take these expansions in these 3v3 games, so that is happening once again. Abolisher is taking that expansion. Thus far, no expansion right now for Back to Workers team. I've got to say, Shturval. So they might want to work on that, and they might be opening up one soon. Let's see. Because one near an undead base is always good. Like I say, undead bases are quite a force to be reckoned with. By the way, notice that this wisp over here is a spy. And whether Foggy's noticed that, I think the Huntress is going towards the back to deal with it. Yep. He spotted it. Okay, so one of the easier ways to tell is if you put Alt-T, type Alt-T, you'll notice the colours a lot more clearer. And luckily we have vibrant colours being used here. Yellow versus red. Does look good. So one thing to note with this cup so far is that it is for $300, the prize pool that goes to the winning team, but there is also a $50 prize for the MVP. That's the most valued player, I believe. And that can be voted upon for you guys. Right now, we don't currently have the list because, well, we haven't seen all the players either. But in the later rounds, towards the semi and grand final, we should hopefully have that list up and you guys can then start to vote on what you thought was the best player. Obviously, I can only cast what games I can get into. I can't obviously get into every single game because that's just literally impossible to do. I can only get into whatever I can possibly manage and show you the players that I can. So you'll just have to make your best judgment and we'll go from there. Right, we've got some lovely punishment being put down. Cheer on, you got to get that Torrent back, otherwise it's an early town portal for you. Ugh, you might want to... Yo, down he goes. Okay, no town portal then, just a straight up run. This is a fantastic defense here for Shturval's team. Team Shturval, basically. Oh, that Archmage. Yeah, you are going to run back and need to heal. You're in the right place though, mate. Scroll regeneration will fix that. So a big thanks to Agrig, who has put up the prize pool money towards this cup. So thank you very much, Agrig, for making this happen. It's been great to have you help sponsor this, as well as a little bonus thanks to Pillagen as well for putting in a donation towards the prize pool too. And of course, a big thanks goes to the administrators at War3 Arena, so over at Maya, Sweet, Jade and all that. So they've also been working hard to try to help make this happen. So thank you to everyone who is involved. And now our big red creep camp goes down. Oh, Cat goes Gem of Health, 300 health. Who's going to get that? Blade Master? Yeah, Blade Master or Demon Hunter, because those two, if they can just sit on the front lines doing damage. 1,100 health from the Blade Master. Oh my goodness. He's got a parry up to Vitality as well, yeah. That explains it. I was going to say, because 300 health's a lot, but yeah, that 1,100 health, that's a lot. So he's got an extra 450 health just on items alone. It's insane. Now, the really good news here for Team Shturval is the fact that they're getting away with all these red creep camps, whilst Bolish's Free Wings, is it? Team Wings is just looking for opportunities to harass, but unfortunately, if they can't capitalize on it, it's basically wasted time. And this wasted time is really, really important time because it's time that the middle creep camps are getting done, which are giving awesome items. Keka's Pipe of Insight, again, a huge item for team games. Mana regeneration for all surrounding heroes and units is a big, big deal. So, looks like another creep camp. Oh, they're going to get all of the red creep camps. And perhaps, to be quite frank with you, Team Free Wings knows this, but they are aware that they don't have the power to stop them, because that's also what happens in team games. You know what your opponents are sometimes doing, but you know you can't stop them because you just can't realistically fight against them. You're just going to have to make do with, well, you know, the lesser stuff nearby that isn't going to give you the best reward, but at least it's something. Yep. Don't worry, you don't need to pick up tomes in melee games. We know this. You've watched my games. You don't need to pick up tomes in melee games. I'm not the only one that doesn't do it. Doesn't pick them up. And there goes the last red creep camp, basically. Medallion of Courage, definitely the worst item out of a lot. But Blade Master's getting everything. The Blade Master got Orb of Darkness with his fast attacks and his ability to survive, as well as extra additional attack for the cause of attack. He's going to be able to slice through opponents and stick there. Oh, they can see you, and they know you're there. And now they know what else is coming. The rest of your army. To be fair, the army for Free Wings isn't actually too bad, but they've split in a really weird way. We're getting that 2 versus 3 syndrome going down again. It's like 2 versus 3 and 1 versus that same 3. It's just, it's not. Maybe it'll work. The Huntresses are moving in fast. Happy's going to need to pull back a little bit here, looking for a better position. Blade Master going on the Huntress. Are we going to see the first skeleton from the Blade Master? No, because the Huntress is moving away. Are the Blade Master is going to go back onto it? Yes, the first skeleton is out. The Lesser Dark Minion. Thank you very much, Orb of Darkness. But that's not really the most important thing that's going on here. We've got all sorts of casters. Priest Scroll of Protection is helping to boost up the army of Free Wings. They're actually pushing quite hard. Both Troll Berserkers going at it. Extra additional damage, but also taking additional damage themselves when they get hit. Oh my goodness, this is really backfiring for Team Shturval, I've got to say. The forces of Edis as well coming in with the militia really helps bolster up the force. Oh my goodness, even the Wisps are coming in at it just to make sure that they've got as much domination as possible. That was a really strong defense there. That has definitely turned the game around. That is a huge, huge deal. Even though all of those Red Creek camps went to Team Shturval, the nice items, the experience, that was a big deal. I think they did really well out of that fight. That positioning actually did work out there. I've seen it before, sometimes it doesn't. That's most likely on open ground, but this time they managed to find the right time to push all at the same time and make use of it. So they still get to keep this expansion. That's the also important thing out of that battle. It's not only did they kind of win, push their opponents back, they also hold that expansion. Meanwhile, Team Shturval still don't have that expansion. They're going to have to put it down at some point or destroy the enemy's expansion to sort of make sure that they're on even grounds. Tauren Chieftain at level 4. Not it's early level 4, but it's still good. Witch Doctor's very smart unit choice here. Although I do believe there was Witch Doctors being researched over here for Worker. So the Witch Doctors just keep such a good vision of the map. Obviously with the Sentry Wards, they just sit there for such a long time. It's critical information for all the players. Oh my goodness, this could be game over right now. Now you would say potentially Defender's advantage, but oh, okay, they're getting themselves into a better arc now. If they were forced more back there, it wouldn't be so good. But look at this arc here for freaking Free Wings. They've got such a large arc, and that Tauren Chieftain taking a hell of a punishment, but he's been given the invulnerability potion so he can still stay up there. He needs to stay up there as much as possible. Just keep putting the threat down. He's got no mana for stomps or anything like that. Now, we have obviously got Defender's advantage, but the arc right now for Free Wings is massive. Blade Master trying to get in the back here, but a good micro there from Edis. Just trying to mitigate any damage that Blade Master's trying to do, stopping things from dying. Although I do wonder whether this force is going down. That Tauren Chieftain takes so much punishment, and they might actually have to eventually back out of this. The Panda's really making a big difference there with the Breath of Fires. It's starting to turn around big time now on Team Free Wings. They definitely need to get back from this. So good job there to Shturval, managing to make use of that defender's advantage and not lose it. They really, really capitalized. To be honest, they got good units too. I think the Bears came in at the right time just towards the end there, really making a big difference. Obviously huge bulky units as well as all the Fiends at the back and the Destroyers keeping somewhat of an eye on those casters. Okay, so the resources right now, cheer on 47 food, 400 gold, Edis 44 food, 300 gold. We've got Abolisher 200 gold and 34 food. Their armies are really, really small, and that expansion is going down. So that's how they're going to make the difference. They're going to plow the extra resources, Team Shturval, that's the red team, into their units, into their tech, and not worry about getting that expansion. Everything goes into it. Even the peons are aggressively moving here. I don't know if that's just to make it more difficult for the enemy to actually attack them, because the peons mess up the sort of like positioning of units. But Happy's sitting at 60 food right now, 200 gold, Worker on 47 food, 200 gold, and 300 gold for Foggy with 47 food. So the numbers are definitely favouring Team Shturval. Not actually immensely. I'll tell you what, the Tauren Chieftain takes so much punishment. He could really do with those the health pendants that were clearly going all over. Look at the damage he's taking. He's having to take everything he's got. Can he buy another potion? Can he get out? No, he's going down. Oh, that's a clunky position. Everything is bunched up together. The Panda's going to enjoy this. He's still got 170 mana to play with. There's going to be another Drunken Brawl. And Haze, there we go. Oh, wait! The Impale from Happy! Just messed up the Breath of Fire, but I think the damage is still done, and Shturval take this. That was a little bit of an awkward combination there of Impale and Breath of Fire going off. But damn. That seals the deal. That was a real back and forth game. Very nice. Okay. Let's get gabbing or get going. And we're going to get going. Upper Kingdom is our map for this next game. It's going to be between... oh, let me bring up my thing again. I've already just gone blank. There we go. Team Trump Let me get the players of Team Trump. There we go. Team Trump, that's the purple team. And they're going to be versus Team Fanatic, which is the dark green team. So, obviously, the cheat colour, so we like to call it. But I'll keep an eye on them. Don't worry about it. We'll see whether they're cheating or not. So,
Hi.
yeah. We are Fowls, part of Team Trump, playing as human. Looks to be Archmage and Footman to start off with, but we don't know for sure. We'll see how that goes. He's actually putting 2 peasants towards getting this Ultra Kings out, favouring that early hero. Now, next to him is Kodos Forsaken. Of course, an Orc player, strong one at that. And the fact that he's going War Mill does suggest the Tauren Chieftain. Again, a very strong hero, but you see the amount of pressure the Tauren Chieftain seems to get in these games. I mean, the aura he provides and the fact that he can stomp and stun so many units does make him a high priority target. But yeah, damn, that guy goes down fast. Considering how big he is and how much health he's got and how much strength he has. Ah, another Orc, so 2 Orcs. That's a bit less... Well, that's a bit more unusual. Blade Master. No barracks. War Mill. An early-ish tech?
Hi.
Into Wyverns or something? I don't know. Keep an eye on him. Anyway, we've got Franzi over down here.
Hi.
And he's going for Blade Master and Grunts. Tauren Chieftain. Maybe one... Oh no, that should... The barracks will go up a little bit early and he'll just have to wait. Okay. Unless he gets 1 grunt first and then headhunters, but I don't think so. Right, Death Knight, Fiends. That's probably the only thing that's just not going to change, really, is if you see the the undead.
A player's forces are under attack.
Priestess of the Moon, Hunter's Hall, Ancient of War. Probably a second Ancient of War at some point soon. Typically, the Priestess of the Moon goes to harass at the start of 3v3 games. Likewise with the Blade Master. Yep. He's going for that early tower, so he is going for the tech tier 2, and we've also got tower for Kodos Forsaken. I'm not sure if I'm favouring that position. Oh, he went for Blade Master as well. Because I saw the Warman, I just assumed Tauren Chieftain, but there's no barracks either. Are they going to be ploughing resources? We are Fouls. He's only got 1 barracks. I guess they are somewhat dependent on the fact that this map is a little bit large, but it's not that big. You can get to the opponent's base relatively quickly. That's a really ballsy move, I think. Priest of the Moon is probably going to try and get the last hit here. And I think she did. I feel like that was definitely... I didn't see the experience bar, but I'm pretty sure she got the last hit there. That definitely looked like the arrow connected. So that was a really cheeky last hit kill there. There's still a few peasants around here. And the healing ward, nice item. Keep yourself nice and healthy and comfortable versus that cheeky Priestess of the Moon, who will be pushed back by a Blade Master now. The other Blade Master has got up to a little bit of mischief, but has soon been pushed back because of undead imbalance. Alright, headhunters for Franzi. Good old Franzi with your headhunters. Wisp coming down here. Potential second hero for the... well, wow, okay. A Night Elf that techs. Weird. And a Blade Master that can't get into a Night Elf base. Yeah, that's how you position your unit, your buildings. Oh my god! He knew the trick! He used the drop the item and then position yourself over and pick it back up to get teleported ever so slightly into the left hand side of the base. Fantastic play there from Manahack. Really nicely done. That was great execution of it. He just did that first time. Didn't have to do it multiple times. Wow. Okay. Because that's going to do some damage, that is. Having a Blade Master inside of your base, that's not what you want. Particularly as a Night Elf. At least your Wisps can flee to other sections. And now he's got to find himself out. And that's going to be more tricky getting out this way. But let's see if he does it. Yeah, it's more tricky, I think, going from this way. From bottom left to top right. He might not be able to get out. Windwalk's only going to last so long. So he might have actually trapped himself in this base. We've got to keep an eye on that. That's a lot of towers from Manahack, though.
A player's forces are under attack.
That's so many towers from Kodos as well. It's like they're competing. And a couple of towers from our modest human in comparison to the orcs. This is a weird game so far. Very bizarre. But okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can get out the other way. I think it can be done, but I think the position has to be absolutely perfect. Okay, Blade Master coming in for the last hit on a very... No! Lovely done there by Franzi. Well done, Franzi. That stomp was critical there. Waiting for the last bit of health and then stomping. Make sure that Blade Master wasn't active to get the last hit. Trying to surround with an injured Headhunter does somewhat counteract that, though. Not ideal. Probably wasn't trying to do that, but just the situation he found himself in. This Blade Master is still effective, though. Probably a good thing for him he didn't actually get to flee. Oh, if he's quick enough. Yep. No!
A player's forces are under attack.
What a tease. What a tease. But he's still okay. So I think Yippee thought that the Blade Master got out, which is why he went out. But the Blade Master's still there. There's only so many times you can remove these wisps and swap them over before they become one-shottable by the Blade Master. Although the Moonwells do help, so I'll give you that. He's doing some nice wisp micro here, but this is this is funny. Blade Master finally manages... No, wait! He's going back... I'm just going to ignore everything else that's going on in this game. I'm too busy watching this. Fascinated by it. I will give you a little glimpse of what's going up over here. Some undead imbalance versus a whole ton of orc towers. So the double tech towards double bestiary, mass raiders, or I mean fiends are strong, but they're not strong enough versus that many towers. This Blade Master, though, seriously.
A player's forces are under attack.
He's gonna have to die though. He's not got a town portal, so it's not an option. Just keep threatening. Yeah, there's no escape for you now. I don't think he's going to lift that Ancient of War now at this stage. That'd be like the biggest mistake of all so far of every single player this tournament. I don't think that's going to happen. And that Blade Master's trying to get last hit by the... That's why he's building the Archer, by the way. There's a lesson for you, boys and girls. If your Ancient of War gets the last hit, you don't get the experience. So that's the reason why he bought an Archer for only a temporary amount of time. So his Ancient of War wouldn't attack because it's building, and when it's building, it can't attack. So that was a good move. Nicely done there. Okay, We Are Fowls is actually starting to compete with the Orcs for the amount of towers. In fact, he might be winning, although it's close between him and Manahack. How strange. Just no real pressure is being applied from Yippee and all of that. Not enough pressure, at least. I mean, there's a little bit. Of course, it's hard to apply pressure when there's this many towers, but they did somewhat scout at the start, so I'm surprised they didn't sort of see like 1 or 2 towers going up and think, hey, we should do some pressure. It's a strange game. Wyverns are coming out. Fiends will be good versus that, at least to begin with, but they're going to fall down, and they are falling down. Bats. Weird. So Manahack favours bats, so he's going to harass with that. Wyverns will be strong enough with the Blade Master Shadow Hunter to at least deal with this. AP's being put down in the Night Elf base, but as we know, APs aren't particularly great units, so it's unfortunately not the best use of resources. These bats will actually deal with this expansion, so that's one expansion down, but there is this other one over here that is going to remain, at least for the foreseeable future, until enough bats come out into the field. Yeah, if you press the Alt T, it does change the colours. It gets rid of the white. And you can see the colours a little bit more efficiently here, just so it's more visible for you. Okay, Lich smartly tanking here with the frost armor, able to benefit with that hero armor, and then of course the coils to back him up from the Death Knight. So good use there. So it's actually more of a... I mean, there's been stuff going on in this game, but it's more of a quiet kind of calm, collected game in comparison to some of the other 3v3s, which have been a consistent barrage of units against units. Possibly the map has just been the determination of this. Franzi not actually going to get harassed by a Blade Master in the middle, so able to pick up the horrible crystal ball. I mean, you can get some use out of it. In free-for-all, it's actually pretty good, but not many other situations. And the bats now have liquid fire upgraded, so that's tier 3 orc, which means that you can't repair a building that is under attack from liquid fire. So Yippee has no way to stop his building going down aside from having units there to finish off those bats, which he's not sending through TP or otherwise. That's going down. Wisps are now to be pressured by the Blade Master and bats. So either Mass Dispel Trying to sneak those out. Ancient of Law, so perhaps Dryads, but unfortunately for Yippee, he's not in a great position in terms of wood. So Shock has been trying to find a position to put pressure on Kodos here. He's like, okay, these guys are fast tech and we need to put some pressure on, but this is not going to be the answer. It's too little too late. A sacrificial skull causing blight is not going to be able to do much here. Even with the headhunters coming in to threaten, that's still so many towers here, and there's so many easy ways for Kodos to poke at this. Although, having said that, Yippee coming in as well, that's all three of them. So Kodos will need some help now. If it was just one or two, he might be okay, but at this stage, he's going to need a little bit of help. But even then, that's so many towers. With the right level of focus, what I would do at this stage is I would hotkey all of those towers to number 5 or 0, something that you're not typically going to use, but something you can easily access, and just select that hotkey and then individually hit one of those units, one at a time, for maximum damage. This isn't all in at this stage because they're forced to do this. The Night Elf can't deal with the pressure. Although, hang on a second, no, they are actually going to fall back. So the game will prolonged a little bit, but it's not a great answer, and they know it. You have to leave some units behind, some food behind. A few archers, a few headhunters to be able to deal with that. Okay, well the tier 3 for Mana Hack means that he's now also got the fortified burrows and towers. So they are now benefiting from fortified armor, which is pretty good actually. Turns out it's only really destroyed by siege, of which we haven't seen anything of the likes produced for this team down here, the dark green team. Okay. Shocker.
A player's forces are under attack.
Okay, Mana Hack coming over here, applying pressure on the blade on the Priestess of the Moon. Okay. Well, I don't know what to say really. This is very unique. We've seen some really bizarre strategies in this 3v3 Cup so far. It's not been the same every game. I mean, there's been definitely similarities with Priestess of the Moon and Mass Huntress and stuff like that, but this game is really playing differently. No expansions. Well, an attempt at an expansion for Francis with the fast Great Hall. That's a lot of money spent on that. So he really wants to keep hold of this, otherwise that's 600 gold at 185 wood down the pan.
A player's forces are under attack.
Okay. The good thing about the Wind Riders is when they're massed up to this level, even just 4 of them is enough to creep a lot of the tougher camps with relative ease. Because of, oh my god, so many towers. It's working for them though. You can't argue, the towers are working. It looks messy, but the other team just can't penetrate first, is it? There's no base they can attack because of all the towers. Just look at this. Just every base has got like a minimum of 6 towers to an average of about 8 to 9. It's just ridiculous, but it's working. Frostworms, that would help you. Frostworms are fantastic versus towers because they have a slow effect, which means that the towers and anything surrounding those towers within a small radius, but a radius large enough, will basically be frozen, which means that they won't attack at all, so they're effectively useless. But will those Frostworms last versus Mana Hack's bats? Maybe the Fiends might actually be able to deal with this. That's a good few bat kills there. Perhaps the gimmicky plays might need to slow down a little bit for Mana Hack's team, and they might need to switch to something else. Although, to be fair, they're getting away with a lot of creep in here. Some powerful stuff, so they're building up their hero levels, and I assume at some point they're going to find a way to transition to something else. If not, they might be able to get away with just the mass wyverns. But what's the human doing anyway? Has he not got workshops? Still, oh, there's an Arcane Sanctum at workshop at the back. I'd say, yeah, you should get a workshop by this point. Very powerful units indeed out of those workshops that will help versus this tier 2, tier 3 progression. Francis with the level 5.5 Torrent Chieftain. It's looking good, Francis. Looking good. Keep it up. When he's not being harassed by that Blade Master, he's doing alright. He's actually pulling the Torrent Chieftain back here, so he doesn't get the experience. Because if you're level 5 or above, you don't get the experience from mobs. So his allies will get the benefit instead. It will be spread amongst his allies. Night Elf just struggles so much versus bats. Ancient Protectors just don't have a good way to deal with them. Even with the upgrade that Night Elf can get later on, the Tree of Blessings upgrade, it just isn't good enough. Again, I think Shocker's... The poor guy is looking for opportunities to poke, but he's not getting much done. A few towers here and there? It's not enough. He needs to find somewhere more critical, but... 4 workshops. You remember when I said workshops were good? Well, imagine 4 of them pumping out freaking tanks and mortars. Yeah. This is the seal deal. They've bought time with the gimmicky wyverns and bats. You could keep them up, to be quite frank, and still be effective for a little bit longer. But a transition for the human to finally get some decent units, like the workshop units, mortars, the tanks, will definitely basically finish this game off. I'd be super surprised if they don't take this. Nice use of Wander the Wind. Although that's a horrible position now for Franzi. Oh my god, a level 5 Tauren Chieftain brought from full health to 0. Such a short span of time. Oh, that Hex, man. That Hex. He was hexed at half health and just the damage output. It's a sad thing to see, but Hex is one of the most powerful spells in the game, so not surprising at the same time. If you can get level 5 Death Knight and level 3 Crit Lord, they might have a bit more staying power in the fights to come, that undead.
A player's forces are under attack.
So much gold as well. Because don't forget that, you know, Team Trump here, the purple team, has had these expansions for a long time. 6,400 gold left. Although, maybe not this one. I might be completely incorrect about this one, because that's only got... It's got 13,000, this one's got 6,000. So something went terribly wrong over here, or that's a late expansion now at this stage. This must be a late expansion, because I don't think it got destroyed. Or not too many times. So even the Mass Wyverns can still hold up against the Fiends. Yippee might be forced back though, because Dryads don't do particularly well versus Wyverns. If the Wyverns can focus them, but there's a couple of Wyverns caught out in the open like that, the Dryads can do well. Here comes more towers. And the bats are still trying some shenanigans, but it's going to be much more difficult with Orc towers rather than Night Elf towers defending. Oh! 3 boneyards! Someone feed this guy. He needs Frostworm's stat. They've even got time for a giant. I mean, the giant actually is pretty good. Kind of. It depends how well you're paying attention. He's got a taunt like once every 8 to 10 seconds, but as long as you start to attack... Because the taunt will basically force all units around you to attack you. That's the enemy units, of course, not your own allied units. That would be a terrible unit then. But as long as you're paying attention, you just go for the unit you want to go straight after he's taunted. And the mountain giant then just gets ignored. It's 7 food, 425 gold, 100 wood. Pretty expensive. And can be ignored relatively easily if you're paying attention. The straw pole has a limit of 30 people. Oh yeah. That's the problem I was thinking with this straw pole, as I don't know how it's going to work. I mean, yeah, if you split it over 3 people, there's like 90 players in this tournament. 91, I think, or something like that. It's quite a lot. Francis, yeah, down to 200 gold and 70 wood, and I don't think his allies are able to bail him out too much because they haven't been having the easiest game either. I feel like it's up for Team Trump to now stop taking the piss, because look at this, they're almost up to fight. They're treating this like a free-for-all game. This is the most free-for-all game I've seen in 3v3. And yes, that was a lot of frees. Not being correctly pronounced as free. Tough. You're just going to have to do it. If you can't get over that, then just stop watching. Seriously, if it bothers you that much, deal with it, is all I'm going to say. Tanks are in. Oh, he just needs to spam out mortars and end this torment. Because this is literally torture now. Not for me, I'm enjoying it. But I mean for the other team. I just put myself in their position and how much of a stressful game this will be, especially if Frostworms are getting picked off. You really want to start mashing those. You don't want to lose those. Oh, what's this? Who's that? Smoothie. Ah, thank you so much for the subscription there. 3 months in a row for the Smoothie. Thank you very much, Smoothie. Welcome, of course. You're always welcome. Well, tanks are doing devastating damage here. Looks good for them. And there's still, what, 5,000 gold now? Yep, 5,000 gold. These Frostworms just aren't holding up to the Wyverns because the Wyverns are fully upgraded. They do really high damage when they're in large numbers like that. The Frostworms can't compete because they've got unarmored armor, which means that they take bonus damage from the Wyverns' piercing attacks. So basically the Wyverns, I think, are doing like 150% damage extra, which is pretty huge. So Frostworms do have a lot of health, but with like 12 or so Wyverns focusing at a time, it's not too hard to bring them down. Particularly if a Blade Master's got Orb of Lightning or something, or a Hex. This Archmage, because he's been so inactive this game, just camping, is only level 3. Just wasting time. Like, they're getting kited around. This is torture. They are just getting kited around, played with. Literally played with. This is like the definition of smurfing, practically. Just higher level players just absolutely toying with their prey. Shocker has got 4 Frostworms, but what happens when the steam tanks start coming in? I don't... Level 5, 4 and 4. Seem to be 5 for the Shadow Hunter.
A player's forces are under attack. A town is under siege.
Yeah, good luck getting expansions. I feel like I'm just speechless for the most part of this now because it's just, yeah, 8,500 gold. It's just ridiculous what's going on right here. I just can't believe they got away with this. I mean, I guess the map has something to do with the fact that the other team... Oh, the bat's going in there. It does make a big impact. This is at least one way to take down one expansion because that is now a force to be reckoned with. You gotta go on those towers now with those Frostworms fast. Spread those Frostworms. God damn it. What are you doing? So many of your units are getting picked. There we go. He's spreading the frost now. Still needs to do a slightly more efficient job of that, otherwise he's going to lose more units. There we go. Spread those Frostworms out. All surrounding towers will get hit. So now they've got a critical force to work with. They've just got to hold out their bases from bats and hope that their opponents can't produce units too quickly to react to this large force. But of course, as we know, when you've got 4 workshops and, you know, Arcane Sanctum over here, you can pretty quickly produce whatever it is that you need, as well as the Orcs having at least 2 bestiaries, working on the 3rd one, which I think they've realised now is probably an idea to build that 3rd one, just so they can produce units quicker, faster. Mana Hack is definitely sort of trapped into going bats for his team. It seems like part of their strategy that regardless he's going to go bats, so it's actually more crucial that Kodos Forsaken has this 3rd bestiary, because he's actually producing units that can actually fight versus this more effectively. The Gyrocopters are good versus the Dryads and any air, because the Dryads, again, they have unarmored, so they take extra damage from siege. Wow, Blade Storm going off. Another expansion down. March of the Ents. It's level 4 Archmage now. Just toying with their prey. In comes the town portal. Large attack. It's the Frosties pulling back. Night Elf base does stay intact. Mana Hack is being focused with the level 6 of Franzi's Tauren Chieftain. He's got some shockwaves for those peons, I bet. Or did he go for Stomp? Perhaps he went for Stomp. In fact, Shockwave would have been a better choice considering the amount of towers that, you know, Team Trump has decided to produce this game.
A player's forces
Oh god. Well, Reincarnation is there at least. But that Wyvern focus is so devastating, the damage output. Watch out. Stomp and then another Hex with the Blade Master DPS. Could he actually be killed again? Oh my... Can't even Town Portal. He should have spammed Town Portal.
town is under siege. A player's forces are under attack.
It's just a rough time if you're a Tauren Chieftain for these games. Sad for me to see because he's my favourite hero. Oh, I'll update the team image in a moment there, Jaden. A nice one, high rise with the straw pole apparently. I'll have a check on that, see how that's going.
A town is under siege.
Ah, you used a thing called Pole Maker. Yeah, that's good. Because Straw Pole can only do so much. So that was one of the issues. So good job finding another source to provide that Straw Pole. Despite Straw Pole getting all the credit, it's not actually Straw Pole. This game has gone on so freaking long and it's been so one-sided. It's just ridiculous. Look how quick the mountain jump. Those Wyverns. Do not underestimate Wyverns, boys and girls. I feel like this Undead is just having the worst time as well. Because it's up to him to basically put the pressure on. He's the strongest out of all of his allies in terms of units and capability, I would say. And he just can't do shit. He gets a few kills here and there, picks off a few towers. I mean, this base is gone, but I'm not even taking that seriously. Because there's also this, there's this, this. So even something over here which will probably end up being filled with towers. So it's hard to take anything like a main base going down seriously in this game if it belongs to Team Trump.
A town is under siege.
No, it's not best of 3 until at least the semi-finals and then the grand finals, and we're not at that stage yet.
A player's forces are under attack.
So how much gold? We Are Fowls is still sitting around the 8,500 gold mark. Because why not? I told you he was going to try and get another expansion here. Of course you will. Why not? Keep going. Keep expanding. Poor Yippee hasn't even had the luxury to afford upgrades for his units. Although Shocker has. He's fully upgraded. And we've got Franzi with a fair few upgrades. I think he's... he used that crystal ball to keep an eye on the Blade Master, but it only lasts for so long. Really needed the Raiders alongside with the Ensnare to seal the deal on that. Look at this. He's got Ankh, Mask of Death, Orb of Lightning, and Scroll of Town Portal, just to make sure he still doesn't die despite having the Ankh anyway. Oh. There's a reconnect there. Oh my... They should have stacked those Blade Storms just to see what that looks like and how much damage goes through. I'm not sure a Blade Storm stacked does additional damage. I have to assume it does. I've never tested it before because I've never felt like I've been in a situation where that was a thing.
A town is under siege.
Oh my goodness, we've got archers coming out now. Well, piercing versus fortified, I think, does about 30% damage. So that's probably not gonna... That might deal with 1 tank, but that's not gonna deal with 5 or 6 tanks coming at you. The weird thing is this game still has shit tons of resources in it. So that's why this map is a free-for-all map. I can see why Team Trump have kind of done what they've done, which is to hoard resources and play the long game. Because the map benefits from it. The gold mines have ridiculous amounts of gold in them. There's quite a lot of them as well, to be fair. Enough for each player at least once. Or once each anyway, maximum, but still. There's the potential of taking the enemy player's gold mine, particularly for Team Trump, which I think they are trying to do right now.
A player's forces are under attack.
Dealing with a couple of like level 7 Blade Masters isn't much fun either. So, like I say, it's just torture.
The town is under
Good
siege.
use of the town portal. Smart to get out, unless you want to lose it. And the tanks have finally had their way with this Night Elf base. Finally. Which has transitioned over here, but there's more tanks on the way.
A player's forces are under attack.
Kodos Forsaken, level 6 Blade Master, level 5 Tauren Chieftain, level 6 Shadow Dancing Hunter. And the other Blade Masters coming in here from Mana Hack. Oh jeez. They're still sitting underneath the 80 food mark as well. Hang on a second. Yep. Bats can't even blow up. He's going for the fiends. Not straight on the frostworms. Now he's going for the frostworms. Now onto the Death Knight. The stomp and maybe a hex. Oh, that combination's so beautiful. And so overpowered. Let's face it, that is an overpowered combination. The Orc triple hero. I enjoy it a lot myself. I mean, I've got nothing. I play random, so I don't give a shit. Basically, I play all the races, and I can tell you which race is imbalanced and which one isn't, with pure impartialness. Orc combination, that combination is ridiculously overpowered, as you can see. Like, how many Periaps of Vitality or gems, Khadgar's Gem of True Health do you need to bloody survive that combination of Stomp, Blade Master, level 7 DPS with the crits, and then a Hex perfectly timed? You probably need like 1600 health or something. I mean, of course, there is a slight favour towards the Orc players here because they've actually got the units to back up the damage. If they didn't have the Wyverns, no, they couldn't do that, but so far this game they can. Yeah, good use from Shocker, keeping those Frostworms alive. Want to keep those bad boys back. That Blade Master could probably just 2-shot both of them. 1-shot probably both of them, actually, considering the amount of damage he does. How's those workshops coming along? Not producing anything. Still underneath 80 food, 5,500 gold. Transitioning into Griffins now, the triple racks Griffins. It's like a cat playing with a mouse.
Players' forces are under attack.
Oh, Blade Master caught. There is the Sentry Ward. Another Sentry Ward. You can still get him. Get him! You got to be so careful with that War Stomp not to miss, because he's so fast, that Blade Master. Although the town portal just denies all of that. Oh. Franzi's now finally out. Yippie's out.
Hi.
Wow, that is by far the most dominated game. I've seen. Look at the heroes on that. 8,000 experience. Free for all levels of gold, that. 41,000. Oh my god. Okay, here we go. Welcome to Typhoon. This is of course a 3v3 map. Thanks to the Frozen Throne for your Sunken Temple style template, which we can benefit from this glorious, beautiful map. I'm sure the players are actually not too happy about playing on this map, though. I'm not sure if it's a favourite amongst the players, but I like it for the aesthetics. So, we have Team Red, that's happy. I believe that's Team Shturval. And they are Undead, Night Elf, Foggy, and Orc Worker. Versus Team A1. That's Lorliette as the Night Elf, Team Yellow, and, well, this is the other numbers. This is Focus as the Orc, and Believe as the Undead. Alrighty, so that's all said and done. Team Shturval versus Team A1. Boom. The wisp is out. Don't aggro those. Yeah, you're fine. So the players are actually pretty close in these positions. This is relatively a small map for 3v3, especially in comparison to the Upper Kingdom map, which you saw last game. That is actually quite considerably larger compared to this. This is... you should actually get a lot of action on this map because the main juice of the creep camps is right in the middle or towards the middle. There's very little to do outside of that point. As well as the shops and mercs, you know, being available in the middle. So we should expect to see more of a standard tier 1 style of play. Not so much tier 2. That will probably come at some point if the game goes long enough, but I imagine you're going to see a lot of Huntresses, a lot of Fiends, a lot of Grunts. It shouldn't really be any different than that. If you do get tier 2, I'd be surprised. That's only if the game stalls to a point where it would be necessary. Alright, I've read my... Yeah, it is a headache. Getting all these games to go. It's much easier with a 1v1 cup, that's for sure. Because there's less players to deal with in that case. But perhaps bigger egos as well in that case. So there's always a pro and a con to these things. Priestess of the Moon on the prowl. Gonna find some peons to poke at, but nothing too big. Nice scout there from Foggy, getting some information as he approaches with his own Priestess of the Moon. Priestess of the Moon's just giving it to the Orcs. That's a nice spot for the Priestess of the Moon to sit. There's not much those can do. They can load up into the burrow, but it's a hassle. Looks like Foggy's going to obviously focus on the creeping, and well, Focus is just going to completely ignore this Priest of the Moon because he could either chase it down. Oh, now we've got the awkward issue of who's going to get the last hit on the Limb Ripper. Yep, that definitely went to Focus there. That one was just slightly too late there for Foggy. He did a good job there securing that kill. Alright, Believe is going to be opening up a creep camp. All of the expansions, the expansion point rather, all the expansions are relatively easy to creep on this map. There's nothing too difficult. Nice item actually. Wand of Illusion early on is pretty good, whilst your health on your hero is pretty strong, so you can load that up on your Death Knight and send that off to get some valuable critical information. Does look like the players are actually playing a bit more calmer than I thought, at least for Team Shturval, where they are actually taking to tier 2. None so far for the double Huntress pump from Foggy. And there's the tech to tier 2 for Worker, so let's see if the same play is used. No. Okay, no, we've got a little bit going on here. So yeah, maybe I was incorrect with that. That poke. Just trying to irritate the creeps, making this difficult for Focus to actually get anything crept. Just with one Priestess of the Moon. It's like being harassed with a Death Knight as a human player. It's one of the worst experiences of your life. And I play it all the fucking time when I do 1 versus 1, because 90% of the ladder... Nah, okay. 70% of the ladder is undead. At least when I'm playing it. And I wish I was joking, but I'm really not. Go check my latest games, all of them. Seriously, I'm not even joking. Everyone is undead. It's a pain in the butt to constantly fight against undead. Ah, undead! When will the imbalance stop? Never. until Blizzard do something about it. Oh, the surround is so close. Either one's good. Can you get it? Can you get it? Come on, help him out, Believe. You got a fiend right there, but you're too busy teleporting away with your Death Knight. Oh, that's a little bit over the top, wasn't it? What was that all about? I don't feel like that was super necessary, but okay. There goes your town portal. You're right next to that base as well. Okay. Disappointing move there, at least from my perspective, but perhaps I missed something. So I'll give him somewhat of the benefit of the doubt. Tech for Tier 2 has finally started for focus. Pretty late in comparison to if you look at Worker, who's now over halfway towards it. Those Tier 2 units are very valuable, and this game actually hasn't quite worked out how I thought it was. There's still a lot of poking going on, but I thought there was going to be bigger numbers of Tier 1 units before we actually saw anything really progress, but that's cool. Because I'd rather see some Tier 2 units in play because they're far more complicated and advance the strategy rather than just the Tier 1 mass against one another.
A player's forces are under attack.
To be quite frank, the voting might end up just being an MVP deal where, I mean, the voting might just be an administrator slash caster perspective of which player is the best, because obviously these straw polls almost always get abused. I think the one way I found to counter that was to use the Google one, but people need to have a Google account, and not everyone has a Google account, so then those that want to vote and can't be bothered to create a Google account will complain. And obviously you're like, well, that's their fault, but welcome to the internet. People are privileged and entitled, so yeah, you deal with that. Anyway, Worker throwing down the stomp, gonna get himself a Huntress kill, but he's gonna take a couple of losses here. Those Huntresses do feel quite comfortable. This is a bit of an odd mix-up. There'll be Huntresses loss, there'll be Headhunters loss, and I'm not sure who's really doing the better here. I guess it's going favourably towards Loliet, who actually does secure another kill. So the Headhunters just aren't powerful enough yet until you've got a decent chunk of them that can really throw down a focused fire attack on those Huntresses to really kill them before they can flee. So Tier 1 for our Night Elf friends. They're always going to be Tier 1, at least until it deems necessary for them to push towards Tier 2, but their allies will do that and they'll produce much better stuff. Destroyers, Obsidian Statues, Bestiary, perhaps Spirit Lodge. Wonder if we'll see... you know what, we haven't actually seen Demolishers in any of these games. And I feel like Demolishers are pretty strong units, and considering you pretty much always having a Night Elf opponent in these team games, I figure Demolishers should be quite good. But they'll probably be better for maps which have more choke points so that you can stop the Huntresses from reaching your Demolishers and have them further back. This map is pretty open, as you can see. So Demolishers shouldn't really be in play here. Fountain of Mana in the middle does make this interesting. Particularly good for the Tauren Chieftain who's benefiting from it. Some more stomps for you. I was waiting for that. Although, where's he running to? He's going to be trapped between the other enemy forces, so he's got to be really careful here. There we... Oh! Beautifully done there by Worker. Perfectly timed that town portal. I can't even tell he was trying to bait that. I feel like he might have been, because he was hanging around there for so long. Does look like Team A1 has got control. At least of the middle. I can't say for sure whether they have of the entire game, because this is actually pretty even so far. I don't feel like this is one-sided in any way, shape or form. 50 food at the moment for our happy friend. 48 food for Foggy. What's this? I can't see at the moment. Oh, 29 food for Worker. Okay, he's had a slightly rougher time. Huntresses on Huntresses here going through. Scroll of Protection, but actually pretty good boost here. +2 armor doesn't sound like much, but if it's spread amongst all those units, it actually makes a pretty big deal. Lightning Shield on the Tauren Chieftain, freaking fantastic. There's plenty more Lightning Shields could be placed on allied heroes. Oh, Lich almost going down there. Death Knight bailing out the Lich, but the Death Knight's still got a couple of coils. Has he got the cooldown for it? Yes, he has. And the pressure is still being applied. The Kodo is in there amongst all of these units, providing that awesome War Jumps bonus, so that's increased attack damage. So whilst that's been going on, Loliet's taking the advantage, and we've got Focus over here that are also applying pressure whilst Believe has been sort of like absorbing some damage in the middle. So this could be a very effective sort of like time attack from these two players here, although the town portal from Foggy does mean that he's going to get quite a lot of kills here actually, so that was a really good move for him. Meanwhile, it's going much worse for Worker. He's having to come in here with a select handful of Headhunters, which still aren't massed to a proper amount yet. A couple of Kodos is nice though, but he can't get a chomp off on any of the grunts. No angle for that. Laudiet's trying to go for a second round.
Forces are under attack.
Okay, I'm just silently watching that little Huntress chase. He's deciding to finally get out of it rather than risk losing another Huntress. And he does actually manage to pull it off there, so that was worth it. Kind of. Yeah, I think it was still worth the attempt to harass, because that was obviously a team play. You know, you go hit one base, I'll go hit another base, so that's a team play. It just didn't work out for him as anywhere near as well as it worked out for Focus, who's got a gigantic army at the moment. Look how many grunts! Okay, we still got, I mean, we got tier 2, haven't we? But we still got mass bloody grunts. It's just the Kodo that is basically being utilised. There's no witch doctors or anything like that going on. What's this? Oh, I can't even see that stuff that's going on there. Let's have a look. Oh, thank you very much, Cavos, for your subscription. Welcome aboard, fella. Welcome aboard. I'm glad you're enjoying this enough to subscribe, so thank you very much. Oh, there's a pincer movement. Look at that. That is a lot of unhappy fiends getting caught in the middle of this. But not many kills, just a few fiends going down. That could have gone worse. A town portal being forced there, alongside the few fiends lost, is quite a considerable amount of gold, up to 1,000 gold there.
Town is under siege.
Ooh, watch out. One more fiend. Add that to the list. Oh, okay, yeah, I see why you're going for the surrounding there. That was more important. Oh, Happy, having a rough time. He's too busy concentrating on the attack. So he not only got pincered, but his base was being attacked, which is probably partly why he got pincered. So that was a case of a very strong player being pressured to make him look kind of bad. Like, Happy's a very good player, don't get me wrong. He's far, far better than me. And I wouldn't say I would do better otherwise, but damn, that looked bad for him. He got pincered, lost a bunch of units in the middle because not paying attention, and got his base wrecked. But that was why, because his base was being wrecked. He's just trying to concentrate probably too much on microing over here, whereas he was going to take losses over there regardless, so perhaps not pay the attention to his base and just concentrate on using the town portal instead, and not worry too much about focusing on Acolyte saving. And this is some interesting engagements between these players. I'm actually liking this game so far. It's definitely very interesting. And we've got a level 7 Shadowcast who's going to drop. Sobi Mask. Wow. Whoa, 2 Sobi Masks. Okay. And there's actually 2 more of these orange camps to go. He's passed 1 over to the Lich. He's got 1 on the Death Knight. This Undead, believe, if he can level himself up, he's not only got the Sobi Mask, he's also got the Fountain of Mana. He could just obliterate armies quite easily, actually, if he gets enough chances to cast those spells off. Wow. Worker's base is just... he's going to need more than that. That will still go down. Wow, this was not expected. Worker has lost his main base. The sacrifice is real for the attack over here. But are they going to commit? They have to, because they've already lost that base. You've got to make something work for you in your favour, otherwise this is going really rough. Oh, the chomp is there. There's still another Kodo in effect. Will he chomp a Huntress? Will he save his headhunters that are being frost-novaed by the powerful believe spells of those Sobi Masks? Ooh, my goodness, more pincers. Freaking focus coming in here on the left-hand side. Yikes. That's more stuff getting thrown down. Trying to find a little bit of a choke block here for the Fiends to sit happy against this mass grunt. So all bundled up together, which is actually kind of negative for them. But they're going in as the sacrifice, whilst the rest of the Hunts and the Fiends for Team A1 are doing the damage above. So the grunts are basically being sacrificed in this purpose. Oh, I love seeing that shockwave. Thank you very much, Torrent Chieftain. Yep, this is looking so strong for Team A1 right now. This is starting to fall apart completely for Team Red. It's just, oh my goodness, it's just not going well at all. The undead imbalance of believe is strong. He's at 4.5. His undead heroes are far more powerful than Happy's right now at this stage. So again, those coils, those novas, those impales, they're all going to have so much of an impact. In fact, impale could be, yep, pretty critical here. Didn't quite get as much as he wanted, but it's still something that will definitely get himself at least another kill. Perhaps a Crypt Lord as well, if he can position himself just right. Meanwhile, over here, we've got a Huntress. Oh, no. The surrounds everywhere trying to take effect. Not quite going off for either player. Although an ensnare is a strong way to surround something. No need to surround this thing. It's going nowhere. Shadow Meld, I don't think so. Okay. You're going to return to a base with one Ancient Protector versus all of those. Good luck. But I hope that your armies managed to build up your heroes and your teammates have managed to build up an army strong enough to deal with that. I think not, but perhaps the defender's advantage might be good enough.
A player's forces are under attack.
It's interesting because focus are so powerful, but they don't have to attack. Because attacking is pretty much the only way they can probably throw this game now. Is doing an attack and it just going wrong in a base, enemy base. So they're actually saying, you know what, we're just going to go and attack the places where you're not. That makes sense, right? And we're still going to get effective kills. They've got complete and utter domination right now. And yeah, it's so hard for the other team to come back at this stage. Poor Team Shturval. They won't be taking this one. Hello, welcome to the semi-finals. We're playing on Typhoon, and it's going to be Team A1 versus SQK, who we've yet to see. So Team A1 are playing as yellow. Yes, because it's Focus as the yellow orc, and Lorliat as the yellow night elf, and Believe as the yellow undead. Versus SQK, consisting of Autist, Dane Autist, as the red undead. I'm going to call him Beats as the red human, and Azure Drake as the red night elf. So, who's going to scout? Who's going to scout? Who's going to be the first one to scout? Who's going to send it out? It's going to be night elf on the outside. Actually, one thing to note, actually, is the positioning of players. I still am not absolutely 100% sure, and I'll be curious to see what you guys think. What positions, or really, what positions would you prefer to be? So say, for example, your standard team, although this isn't exactly a mirror match, because it's an orc versus a human, instead of an orc and an orc. Do you see what I mean? Or a human and a human. So it's undead night elf. Those are guaranteed on either side. But the difference is the human and orc. So that will be one interesting note. But the actual other thing I was curious about was, where would you want to be positioned? I suppose this is probably the best case scenario for Beats, otherwise known as Team SQK, because the human is, in my opinion, the most vulnerable to harass, like from the Tauren Chieftain Shockwave, or the Huntresses from the Priestess of the Moon, you know, that kind of stuff. So I figured this would probably be the best case scenario, is undead definitely on the outside, because of never attack an undead base, and Night Elf on the other side. Now, Night Elf may be a bit more vulnerable, but at least they can still hold out. Human, unless they build lots of towers, they really get a hard time. Even in the middle, they might still want towers, because just because you're in the middle position doesn't mean you're not going to get pressured. But it just makes it a little bit more harder for the enemy team to commit, because they've got to go in between the other two players to get to you. So there's that to bear in mind. Okay, so Death Knight soon out to play. Fiend's probably going to pull a green camp in a moment. Hasn't got the Nerubian Tower, but he's just going to pull it, just do that little bit of extra damage. Just a little bit of extra damage makes the difference. Oh, thank you very much there, Mr. Landis. I'm glad you're enjoying the live stream. Yeah, you see what I mean? Like, they can benefit from the healing of the Blight and just do that little bit of damage. Maybe pull him back if they're lucky, which he has actually managed to do. So you can pull him back, go for another round. It just min-maxes the amount of time you spend creeping as well as damaging. So that's pretty good. Nice use. Oh, what? Woo! This looks cool. Getting entangled, getting entangled. Come on! What are you waiting for? Really doesn't want to kill the Priest of the Moon. Wants to go for other units like the Acolytes and such, I guess. Because that was an opportunity to surround with the Skeletons and the Bolt. Okay, they're going to go for the Fiends. That's actually a really nice defense here for Believe it or not, simply because of those skeleton position there, stopping them from going in from all angles. But yeah, this is going to be a lot of losses for Believe. Upgrading those towers, he's going to need to get some funds resourced to him right now, or resources funded to him. Either way, you know what I mean. Because this is going to do some initial damage to start off with, but I don't think it's going to last for too much longer, especially with the Keep of the Grove and the Mountain King being already quite vulnerable at this stage, and the Death Knight following afterwards, being trapped potentially. The Frost Tower is on him. He's going not looking too good for them. They get to kill a few acolytes. This is some nice damage at the start, but bear in mind that whilst Believe is dealing with this and pressuring or pushing back the pressure, his allies are also benefiting from expansions. Oh, hello there. Thank you very much for subscribing, whoever that might be. I'll have another check. Oh, is there a coil? There's no coil, but there's definitely going to be a last hit. Danbix. Oh, I know. There's not a Danbix. Where's the last hit, Danbix? He's going to get away. Well, I guess he has to defend his base, but yeah, thank you very much there, Danbix, for subscribing. This is a chaotic moment indeed. I can't let that keep it going. I would have just carried on chasing. It's not like the Death Knight's doing anything here. Look at what is he doing? He's confused. Lost and confused. He's still got the towers, so he can stay. That damn sneaky keeper of the Grove. So all the heroes actually managed to get out of this. So that was actually a very successful harass. The one benefit for Team A1 is that they get to do creeping on the other side. So their other players might get stronger because of this. Whilst Believe obviously has to take the hit. He takes the economy damage. He has to build up towers that he didn't probably want to have to spend resources on, particularly not at this stage of the game. Oh, there's an interception here from Azure Drake. Nicely done. Good scout there. Just a little bit late, but definitely a good idea to have a little poke at that, see what's going on there. Keep an eye. What is your players doing? Because if you don't see them defending their ally when they were being attacked, they must be doing something. And what they were doing was securing an expansion. So we'll see how that one works out. Believe you're going to do some creeping, aren't you, fella? Try to get yourself Unholy Aura so you can heal everything back up from the amount of damage you took. To be fair, he lost a few acolytes, maybe 4 potentially in total. I didn't keep proper track of it, but the damage was definitely quite significant, but not enough that he's totally crippled from it by any means. And I don't think it's actually that big a deal because there's not that much to creep on this map. You need to build up quite a few Fiends before you can creep anything. So the most damage that's actually done to him, to be fair, was actually losing the Fiends in the defense of his base. That was the most damage. That was actually pretty critical, more than potentially the Acolytes, because he has to rebuild those Fiends. And until he gets like 3 or so Fiends, as you can see that Ortis over here has, he doesn't have much position, much power on the battlefield. He's just a Death Knight running around. So there's not much for him to do other than just be a, you know, little pest. And oh, they spotted this expansion, so even though I tried to whisper it, they managed to find out that is not gonna hold, is it? No, the Mountain King just needs to give it a whack, and it's definitely going down. Okay, so that's a good move there, nicely done. They've managed to secure the expansion depth, but lost a little bit in return. Mountain King, are you going to escape from this? Your little stubby legs might not get you out of this situation. Oh, there. This is the most awkward surround ever. He's actually going to get more kills because they took too long to get a secured surround at him. There we go. The little bugger finally goes down. So a few losses here and there for both sides. Sentry ward placement. Nice. That's good information. Always nice to know. I mean, it's a little tip for you, particularly for 1 versus 1 games, particularly if you're Orc and you've got like Blade Master and Ensnare, or just a larger army in general that can kill off a bunch of units. Lovely engagement here. Focus is very strong at just going into these vulnerable bases and trying to do some damage. That's clearly his job, and he's good at it. But he has got caught out a little bit here, and these units split. He's disarmed a Town Portal here. He gets to do damage, but nothing critical because he's not actually really killing anything there. So as long as Mr. Beats here can pump up the volume and throw down a regeneration scroll amongst his party goers, then he should be okay, because I'm sure that I'm sure Focus is probably going to come back for him at some point. He's going to build up all of his mana and he's going to come back. I wouldn't have thought he'd give up after that. Not versus human. You want to keep pressuring him. There you go. Regeneration scroll has gone down. He's like Lucio from freaking Overwatch. Just freaking pumping up the jam, healing up his units. Okay. So, with that all said and done, we're now calmly trying to get all of the groups together. We have Team A1, Death Knight Fiends, level 3 Death Knight, level 3 Tauren Chieftain, very large amount of grunts, and Laureate falling behind here with the... What is he trying to surround that grunt? That's your own grunt. He did look like it. But he's intercepting these. Oh, he's going for it. It's actually quite similar to the army forces, but Angel Drake's pulling further back because he's actually level 1. Well, so is Laureate, to be fair. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's always best to be close to your base as possible because any re-engagements, like any forces coming in, would be handy. I actually was going to say something handy earlier. I forgot what it was now. No, I kind of remember, but I'm too busy focused on this. We got that attack again. Like I said, Tauren Chieftain coming in. They did actually manage to heal up a little bit, those peasants, but a couple of shockwaves will deal with that. There's actually so many potions of mana. Look at this. 2 potions of mana. Oh, those peasants. Oh, this is probably the reason why we haven't seen too many human players in this 3v3 tournament. They just... I tell you, human used to be sort of seen as like the most strongest race in 1 versus 1 and, you know, just in general. But I think lately in Warcraft 3, the meta's slightly changing. You'll still get players, particularly like the Asian players, being the most strongest with humans because they require so much sort of micromanagement. But yeah, I'm seeing you're seeing humans just not really doing well in a lot of cases because of this. They've got so many vulnerable units. They're so easy to bully. That is literally like, what, 1 peasant left? No, 2 peasants. Everything else destroyed. You think the few acolytes hurts your economy. Imagine losing like 17 peasants or whatever it is, 13 peasants. God damn. Oh, look how many huntresses are so vulnerable. They're going to get away as well. That's so much experience. Azure Drake, are you able to secure a kill here? Are you going to go? Oh, come on, quick. Get him. No. Town Portal goes, and he gets out of that situation just as well because his other units wouldn't be able to get very far without the Death Knight Town Portal in the way. Oh, Mr. Landis, thank you very much for subscribing with your Twitch Prime. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Landis. Wow, this is going pretty well for Team A1. They've done some pretty critical damage, although I like the mortar teams from the humans. That is the one main benefit of having human is mortar teams with their frag shards. That's if he's got frag shards. Yeah, he's got tier 3, so he's just upgraded frag shards now. They can be very, very critical in big team fights, particularly if you can't get to the mortars or you've got your opponent locked into their base. They can attack freely on the huntresses, on the fiends. They're doing so much damage, potentially orc casters if there are any. Let's face it, there's just grunts and a Kodo, maybe even a raider. We'll see. That expansion actually did go back up for Lawlier. He's got an expansion now, and we have an expansion for Azure Drake being built at the bottom right there. Pressure being applied here from Dane with the mortars, so this is something they have to respond to. It's only 2 mortars, but still siege is going to do some nice damage, and there's more coming in from behind. So how are they going to respond? This could go really badly for them though with the defender's advantage. The fact that A1 is quite strong right now. Currently Focus is having to deal versus 3 players right now by himself. The Tauren Chieftain not doing so well. Can he get out of this situation? No, he cannot. Level 4 Tauren Chieftain going down. What are his allies doing? Why are they not helping him out at this point in time? I thought maybe they're doing something else on the map. But at the moment, they're just dicking around, trying to pick off a couple of units. That's not good. Poor Focus is really getting the pressure now. All of these units surrounding this stronghold. Mortars on it. There's only so many peons around to repair it. Maybe they're going to sacrifice this base. Are they considering? Are they arguing amongst themselves whether they're going to come in and try to defend this base? No, they are coming in. Is it going to be enough? They're trying to make a move. It might be enough, actually. That's a pretty strong force right there coming in from Believe. Good flanking here as well. That might be enough. Try to get to those mortars and snare securing. Grunts coming in on the left-hand side. Yep, this is actually pretty good defender's advantage, and the stronghold is now currently going to hold by the looks of it. Although there's still a fair bit going here for Autists and all of that. But I think the pressure from the Fiends, the Orb of Quam doing its job, I think that might be enough to secure the deal. And we've also got Focus coming back in. His hero being repurchased from the tavern. Level 4 Tauren Chieftain is pissed and he's getting up into the front. Get in there, my boy. But be careful because that Lich might bring you down pretty quickly with his Focus. But the Lich actually might go down as well. The coil's actually being used to keep the Lich alive. That's one less coil for the Tauren Chieftain. But the Tauren Chieftain is also taking so much pressure. Oh my god. He's falling back. Is he going to be chased down by a Mountain King? No, surely not. It should be the Death Knight chasing him down because the Death Knight can catch up with him quicker and easier. The Mountain King's still just trying to do his little best and he's not really catching up. Oh my god, what is going on? Believe A1, they are going strong here. How is that Tauren Chieftain? He's going to get away. He's okay. Oh wow. That was a huge deal for A1. I think they might have just clinched the win there with that defender's advantage. They did actually take the opportunity to just breathe for a second and then Town Portal when the time was right. But I feel like they might have been a bit of miscoordination there in terms of communication to causing a few losses more than they should have taken. But it's stressful, you know, it's the pressure. Tanks? Surely not. Now we've got tanks coming in. Well, that's... The human do have the mortars and the tanks. They are very powerful units, so you can let the human stay alive long enough. He probably does trump the orc in some shape or way form, simply because of the mortars just being as good as they are. But having said that, orc has been not exactly a weak race for these tournaments either. So... There's that. Okay, some pressure coming in here versus Believe. Luckily, he has those towers from earlier that do help him defend just a little bit here. He can't do too much, but his allies are nearby, and he actually is approaching on the left-hand side. The mortar teams are going to get picked off unless this Mountain King can save one with a town portal. They aren't going to last very long. I feel like you just should get out of this situation now. An early TP there for the human, but I guess he might take the loss or two and stick in it. Maybe they think they can get the Death Knight killed. He isn't able to get to the shop unless he can curve around, but there's no real focus on the Death Knight aside from the Mountain King. The Mountain King does actually have a couple of bolts, and there's an entangle coming in. That Death Knight will go down unless the Lich can pass over an item. No, he can't. So that is Believe's Death Knight down, which is a huge deal. Death Knight is a really core principal unit of the undead army, and I don't think... Did he have the town portal? There's no town portal on this, but he is by his base, so he might be okay as long as he can flank back into his base. But there's no way to keep the Lich alive anymore after that amount of focus. Down goes the Lich. The undead army is falling apart now that the Death Knight is no longer part of this. Now we've got focus coming on the east-hand side, trying to put some pressure, maybe taking down the Night Elf base. He's sick of... Oh my... Did you see that? Those wisps came out to try to repair the Tree of Life at the exact time the shockwave went off. And he... Oh, Jesus Christ. That was such unfortunate timing there. Very well predicted by Focus. He's so strong. Do not mess with Focus. He's good. Turns out he's a pretty good player. I like that guy. So, we got Believe just desperately trying to hold up, and he's doing alright. He's okay. He's managed to get his Death Knight back. I assume it came back from the tavern, because there's no way it's coming from the altar that quickly. Oh, God. So, now, we got a potential flank. Lawlier, knowing that there's a retreat from Ordain, or does he? Either way, he spots some mortar teams, but the mortar teams are mixed amongst this sort of like a choke point here, so it's not so easy to engage on that. And he's trying to find his way out. And in comes frickin' Focus with the level 5 Torrent Chieftain. Come on, boy! Shockwave me happy. Ah, there we go. It actually looks like Lawlier's going to go for some creeping. Perhaps he wants to get that Soapy Mask super badly. Azure Drake's expansion is now under pressure. Keeper of the Grove, slightly caught out. Has Focus noticed it? Now he has. There we go. I don't think that Keeper of the Grove is going far. That is a surround. That is a kill. Meanwhile, down here, we've got Believe being forced back. This time he is going to town portal with his Death Knight before getting freaking storm bolted again. And killed. There's a little bit of pressure at this expansion, but I wouldn't call that much pressure. Otherwise, some. And down goes the Keeper of the Grove, thanks to the secured ensnare from Focus. On the east-hand side, Lawlier is now being forced to town portal, basically because of that many mortars. You might look at that situation, you might think, why didn't he just stay there and try to pick off the castle? Well, no, one, because it's a castle, it's got tons of health, and also two, because mortar teams can really obliterate once they've got huge numbers, and there's like 4 or 5 of them, so those huntresses won't last too long, actually, surprisingly enough. Even though there's that many of them, they can't really dance around mortar teams for too long before they take too much damage. Okay. At the top here, we've got Lawlier, who's regrouping all of his units for another pressured attack against the Night Elf, who, let's face it, cannot deal with this pressure right now. And Beats has barely got any peasants left in his economy, just enough in the gold mine. We've got Believe holding up there, the Lich just absorbing a nice chunk of damage. Another town portal. What Believe is doing really is actually distracting a lot of damage from the enemy, and actually allowing his allies to just run amok. He's kind of been the fall guy in a lot of ways. Like right at the start of the game, he was pressured, and it just allowed his allies to creep. And then later on in the game, just to apply pressure to their opponents. Very nicely done. And there goes the mortar teams. Well, they're doing something now. Is it too little too late? An expansion kill is pretty nice, as long as you don't lose too much of the combination of spells that can come out from the undead. Very easy, able to pick off the mortar teams. Nice use of Dark Ritual there, denying experience as well as gaining, well, probably not gaining any mana from that, to be quite frank with you, because it has to be based off the unit's health. And if it's got like 20 health or something, you're not going to get any mana off of it, but it's just a way to deny experience, so it's fine. Another mortar team picked off again. Oh my goodness, and over here, who was that? Was that Focus? Oh, you cheeky sod. Yep, Focus took out the human main. The Night Elf has gone back up, but there's not really anything going for it. This is just a really hard situation for SQK. They just can't find a ground to stand on right now. They're floating in space and they are suffocating. This is really awkward. Now in comes the Torrent. Oh no, it's not a Torrent. Here's a fucking Crypt Lord. Is he going to do an awesome Impale? Come on, show me an Impale. No, you ain't got mana for it. Oh, disappointed. But never mind. They managed to do the job and save the expansion. Well, is that going to be enough? I don't think so. I think this... Oh, hang on a second. There's no... Oh, here he goes. Ah, he still did it. Because they took a mana potion to try and get a shockwave off, I think, just to stop that town portal, but he didn't go ahead with the shockwave, so either it wasn't available on cooldown, he just didn't react quite quick enough, but I'm going to assume the cooldown wasn't available. But that was it. It's like, oh yeah, quick, take the mana, get the mana, finish it off. That's the Night Elf base completely gone now, apart from the bottom right here, which ain't much left. Mountain King just strolling around the map. He's like, well, what else is there to do now? Okay, we've got the Undead versus Undead imbalance. Both level 5 on the Death Knight, but there's also support coming in here from Believe's teammate, Focus, with the shockwaves, the Orcs flanking in on the east-hand side. Oh my goodness, Dane's Lich going down and the GG being thrown as well. GG. That was an action-packed game. Lovely. Lovely stuff. Welcome to the game 2 of the semi-finals. Upper Kingdom is our map, and here we go. We're going to start off with a little bit of lag just to get the tension going, and then we're going to enjoy some Undead Imbalance from Believe and a floating ghoul by the looks of it. Alright, so Believe Team A1 playing as Silver. Yeah, the colours went a bit wrong there. I do apologise. I couldn't do anything about that. I've literally just got back right now. Just gathered some food. But Focus is here as well. Silver Orc on a white map. Yeah, this is a little bit cheaty. And Lorliet, of course, as the Night Elf. Against the purple Beats. And Asia Drake, the Night Elf. And the Undead. Where's that graveyard boy? No. What? He's made a mistake. Double Tome of Relics. Triple Tome of Relics. I guess there might be a certain style of play going on here to perhaps make a comeback after the last game. Well, we'll see how that goes. That might cost a bit of resources. There's lumber mill here, so there's not even footmen to do this. I thought there was like some sort of rush going on, but so far no one's building units. But then again, we did see last time on Upper Kingdom that Team Trump decided to just pretty much never build units. Also, there's a spy wisp in this base. Or is there? No, there isn't. There might be soon. It just looks like it on the minimap. Yeah, there's no units yet. Mountain King coming out. Ghouls, graveyards now. Bizarre. I guess it's just for creeping. So they're going to hold out on the units. Tech to tier 2. But what's going on this side? Super mega... Oh, they are taking a piss now, aren't they? After that last game. They got to be taking a piss. No units for Lorliet. No units for Focus. And... Well, hang on a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... No, 4 crypts. I guess it should be Fiends, really, because Fiends are definitely stronger. But I wouldn't be surprised to see lots of Ghouls just so they can siege down buildings. I really want to see what comes out of these crypts. Whether it's going to be Fiends or not. Either way, he's capped on the cigarettes. He's going to wait for his cigarettes to go. So that looks like a little bit of a mistake. Where they got a bit carried away with that and forgot the cigarette. I've done that plenty of times before. So all of these crypts are sitting here not doing anything. If he actually keeps attacking that cigarette, especially with some skeletons... Weird. Like, there's some gimmicky stuff going on. And that's really gonna hurt. Although the necropolis goes up, to be fair. Oh! Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I fucking didn't even realise he was teching. I just... I just didn't assume it's so early in the game. I just thought, well, he's not taking. Sorry, I just totally didn't realise that. Of course. This is a feed towards Gargs. Right. That makes so much more sense now. How bizarre. No wonder I couldn't work that one out. It's just like, because I didn't realise that there was no tech going on. Alright. So, I was going to try to eat, but this looks like a pretty difficult game. Oh my god. This is an early game too. The third panda's coming in. This is again why you just don't see human. 3 pandas inside of a human base. Oh well. There we go. It's time for some veg. Bell pepper here somewhere and a piece of dark chocolate. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Dark chocolate. Good. Well, the human base is almost already down. There's no way they're going to kill this undead base, because it's an undead base. Cigarettes are down. 22 out of 20 food. But he'll find a place to put cigarettes down. Or maybe even a necropolis down. That's one player out of the game already. He's having to evacuate. There's only ancient protectors built at the back here to deal with the Gargs, so there's no way you can get an expansion when there's Gargs that can harass the peasants that are going to be building the expansion, but there's not even been built yet because there's no creeps done. So the only way for Dane and that team to come back now is with a bunch of fiends to catch those Gargs, to get lucky and catch a critical amount of gargoyles to maybe turn things back around. But
forces are under attack.
humans down already.
The town is under siege.
Pandas are moving in onto the Night Elf base. Well, I guess we're not going to get a very long game, which, to be quite frank, I'm grateful after the last time we saw this on Upper Kingdom. I would normally cut this up, but I didn't really have much time considering I'm casting this tournament. As you can see, I just managed to get back in time.
A player's
There's a web.
forces are under attack.
Although they can definitely get secure kills in the Pandas early game with Entangle and Stormbolt. That shouldn't be difficult. But the mana is still an issue. And even if you do get that Stormbolt off, I don't know if you've got enough damage to kill him. So he's probably still going to run away here. They're going to go ahead with it, I think. But I don't think you're going to get the kill. He's just going to still walk away.
A player's forces are under attack.
Hi.
He's not going to block the other panda now, is he? Yep. The long chase for no result. Oh, the Fiend comes in and blocks! Yeah, there was a weird hesitant play there. We got Dane moving into the Orc base, which is definitely much more vulnerable, so that makes much more sense than trying to do damage to the undead base. Although the tech is going off, this acolytes can be produced from the necropolis. That's good. So the gargoyle mass is just going to get out of hand here for this team. Even with those fiends to deal with the gargoyles, I still think as long as you've got the other pandas to just keep throwing down the breath of fire, there's no way you're going to worry about this. This should be good for the gargoyle team. I'd be surprised if it's not. I would be surprised if it's not. I mean, the human, he might be able to make a comeback if he can get his base back. But how long has his base been down already? Like 3 minutes? It's a long time. Got my madras covered chicken
Town
here.
is under siege. A player's forces are under attack.
Not quite getting the kill on that fiend. And the Gargs are still massing up. Good use of the Wisp though, dispelling some of the mana. Detonate gets rid of 50 mana on a hero, per hero.
A player's forces are under attack.
In a weird way it's still close, but I don't think it is really. Fiends are still holding out versus the Gargoyles, but the Pandas can keep leveling out. As soon as they get to like level 3, if they manage to get that far, it's a good game for the Fiends basically. Humans very slowly making a comeback.
A player's forces are under attack.
Night Elf just able to just sit comfortably here. Very bizarre plays. But this map seems to encourage it. That panda is tempting death, isn't he? It's almost baiting him. It's one panda down. The Gargoyles are really the key here, because if those pandas can't stay in the fight, then actually this is looking kind of bad for Team A1. I don't think they're going to lose it, but at least for this initial part, it's not looking great. They'll just have to try to desperately hold out until they can get the other additional units to support the Gargs, because that's enough Fiends now that Gargs aren't going to be a threat. I thought initially, with the amount of Gargs that Cripsy had, he could keep those Fiend numbers down, particularly with the Pandas, but again, though, if he does get level 3 on all the Pandas, those Fiends will not last versus triple frickin' Breath of Fire.
A player's forces are under attack.
Another Panda down. Panda down.
Is under siege.
Panda up soon. Okay. Beats is back in the house. I think Focus is feeling a little bit out of his comfort zone without his Tauren Chieftain. If I change the colours, that's a little bit better, I suppose, but you still get confused by the different colours of the other players. How about I do this? And then you can see a bit more clearly on the mini-map. Decent chunk of guards moving in. Panda's trying to take clarity potions amongst the battle because it's that important to try to get as much mana in there as possible, but it's also important to stay alive. Good use there. The Breath of Fire on the last hit. Those Fiends cannot burrow fast enough. They're actually being pushed back here. Bunch of ghouls coming in is actually a really good switch because the undead actually doesn't have an easy way to deal with the ghouls, unlike the Gargs. So the ghouls will do lots of damage here versus those Fiends. So that was actually a smart move to just sort of like, look, say, you know what? These Gargs are fun, but it is time to get a unit that can actually deal with the pressure that we're currently under. So they're answering the counters that are facing them. And this is the part where I think they go and seal the deal. They've got access to the middle to creep it, to heal there, to level up the Pandas even further. So it's looking good for them. Team A1 should be able to take this, but if those Arcane Sanctums come out with Sorks, that could be another matter, because Undead, I mean, you can still switch towards Destroyers. It's quite comfortable for him to do so, but at the moment he hasn't built anything towards it, so Sorks will definitely have a good impact until that happens. Gee, the item's Orb of Frost. Really good item. Orb of Corruption. It's just looking great so far. time for some more of that bell pepper, I think. Pretty sure Homer Simpson ate these like this in one of his episodes when he was going on the hunger strike.
A player's forces are under attack.
Alright, the human's going to get bullied again. It's a good time for it before he gets too many towers up. Oh! Really's up to the pandas now, because even though you saw those fiends, they got a great catch on those guards. That's actually backfired a little bit. Makes them so susceptible. But the Spellbreakers and the Militias coming in here are actually really nice. Might be just enough here to actually hold off this attack. And the pandas will run out of mana at this stage. They have got a couple of mana potions to keep themselves going, but that Mask of Death on one of the pandas. Right. Still no tech transition for our Night Elf. Orc is keeping it relatively straightforward. Double Bestiary, Raiders, perhaps Kodo fit into the mix. And back to Gargs. Looking for an expansion spot while still getting experience. So it wasn't Sorks. I was expecting Sorks, but Spellbreakers are a good pick. At least versus Ghouls and the Panda to try to get us around. It's particularly since they got a Keeper of the Grove and the Mountain King to sort of Stormbolt or Entangle. Make it easier to pull off that surround. Frost Nova too.
A player's forces are under attack.
There's the Spellbreaker surround. Just missing the mark, but a second a time will definitely do it. This is why pandas go extinct. They're too aggressive. Most deadliest animal on the planet. Incoming Gargs. Frostworms though coming out to play. It's a strange mix, but I suppose it will help with the fiends, but when they're on their own, the guards will play if they're paying attention. Although that's not good. Quite a few Gargs being lost here just to get that one worm because of the undead base being such a bitch.
The town is under siege.
Dare I say,
A player's forces are under attack.
unless anything goes too wrong here, they need a defense here. They are teleporting, so that's good. They've got something set up to help versus this. Uh-oh, that's not going to be enough. But you get a lot of raider kills out of this, 2 or 3 at most. That should be enough. Oh, the Frostworm comes in. Ooh, wow. You got a town portal out of that one, surely. Or are you going to lose all those raiders?
The town is under siege.
Oh, well, okay. Well, maybe not lose all of those raiders. Okay, maybe fell into the town portal. I kind of get it. It's a bit of a comeback coming here. I didn't actually honestly think that it was possible. But SQK are actually in a position now where they're looking really comfortable and strong. They keep holding out versus the pandas. They've got enough fiends to somewhat deal with those Gargs, and the Frostworms just help apply pressure. This might be a bit too much though. That is a large force coming their way. Try not to take too many losses here. Just take 1 or 2 losses, get back and regroup. Don't overindulge yourself here, because it's not worth it. That is definitely more than you can take on. So yeah, he's teleporting out. Don't lose to another lot of fiends. No breath of fire? Okay. Probably not enough mana for it. So the Night Elf base is actually down for Lorliet, with an expansion coming up, but there's also an expansion up already for Asia Drake, and also one here for Lorliet. Why not? Take them all. Lots of shades out in the field here for Team AI. A1 rather.
A player's forces are under attack.
More experience going towards Dane's undead heroes. Level 4 on both the Death Knight and the Lich, and the level 3 on the Pit Lord. Pit Lord's actually a smart pick here, believe it or not. Good versus the ghouls and gargs, makes them almost useless with that Howl of Terror. Frostworm's coming back though. Leave picking up some himself.
A player's forces are under attack. A player's forces are under attack. The town is under siege.
That is a large force coming in now. So a lot of trading going on in terms of expansions. The armies are building up in mass. Dane, how will he respond to these guards? The first few are captured. Looks like the fiends are being focused, but a nice coil there. Gets the expansion out. I don't think he's... No, I don't think he lost a unit there. So that was super successful, that was. They don't have an orc for sentry wards, but this is the part where, yeah, Dane, I don't know if he's got any shades out on the field,
The town is under siege.
but he really needs to start getting some just for his other allies who are getting pressured by this raider panda BS. That's a level 5 panda now.
A player's
So the
forces
problem
are
is
under
against
attack.
humans, you just get bullied so much. You try to repair your main, you're forced to repair it, and then you just get everything blown up by the breath of fire. Oh my god! This is it! I think this is the critical point. They are now getting so many free kills because that Frostworm mass at such a ridiculous level. The power of the heroes. Look how many units are killed for free! Nothing is destroyed from the human aside from a few peasants. Oh my god, that is it. They actually came back from this. Bonkers. Absolute bonkers. I mean, it's not over yet, but that feels pretty secure to me.
Under attack. A town is under siege.
He's just missing the spell breakers there. And then the Keeper of the Grove that can entangle him as well. He could have got screwed if he
A
just
player's
went a little
forces
bit
are under
earlier.
attack.
Right, the undead are at it again. Those Gargs are definitely scary though, but with enough Frost Novas you can maybe kite those Gargs for long enough. Dark Ritual, lovely use there. Strange pick of Blood Mage. But I suppose it's just to reduce the mana. Siphon as much mana out of those enemy heroes. It's all about trying to control... Oh no, it's Banish! Banish bolts around. Secure that panda kill. Unless he town portals, which he will. Will those Frostworms hold up? Those Gargs are taking a beating. Oh, but they also get to go back, don't they? And heal up again, because I assume they've got Stone Form. Oh, J Skill, thank you very much, by the way, for the Warcraft free world edit map that you gave me. That's basically a solution for creating green screen / photoshopping units. That works perfectly. I understood what you did. It took me a moment to sort of read over it and go over it enough times that I understood, but I understood what you did. It's very good. Rain of Fire, I don't think you really see it from actual proper people playing competitive games with Pit Lord. I'll go Rain of Fire because I think it's funny, and it's actually very powerful, and most of the people I use against probably won't move out of the way, but at the higher level, I don't think you can see much Rain of Fire. Howl of Terror is actually the preferred spell, because it is actually probably more powerful in a range team style situations. No. He lost the Lich as well. Level 5 one of that. Okay, well there's a few comeback mechanics here coming from Team A1 to try to change things. That Frostworm! Come on! Oh, he only gets one raid and he barely slows it.
The town is under siege. The player's forces are under attack.
Oh, that ain't gonna work. Bye to all of those wisps. The Rock Golem pickup is actually very nice here. That's a summon unit. Capable of hurling the boulder, much like the Storm Bolt. Looks like another potential expansion gone. Or an expansion that was already up.
The player's forces are under attack.
How does it feel to eat in front of 700 people? I haven't thought about it that way. But I think people understand. I think everyone eats, don't they? So I think you understand. I'm surprised. Not many upgrades actually for these guards and that.
A player's forces are under attack.
I do like the cheeky human's efforts though. Still level 1. But the Mountain King's good, level 4. But he's got to be a bit careful. I don't think I've seen... Oh no, there is. Hang on. Get in there. Where are you going? East. Trying to get that panda. Trying to not lose your blood mage. Uh-oh. That's an awkward defense.
Players' forces are under attack.
Maybe get a panda secure kill, but the Mask of Death and the panda means he can fight them up. Oh no, just town portal. Never mind.
The town is under siege.
Wow. That's some critical damage.
Players' forces
One first one yard down. Another one almost definitely going to go down. Unless the town portal comes in now. There goes the Frostworms. Oh! But he's still going to get it. I guess Dane just didn't have access to a town portal in time. He needed to react to that ASAP. Now there's another attack going up here, and there's a lot of Gargs this time. That's the thing, the Frostworms are powerful. You see 4 to 5 Frostworms, you're like, wow. But now I'm seeing like 14 to 17 Gargoyles, I guess. Maybe more? That's... Oh, here we go. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? Oh, God. Look at that damage. Gargs are actually being kited a little bit, but at the same time losing like a frostworm each time to do it. Teleport down here. Beast is forced back. Those Gargs have got so much longevity though. They got the flexibility of being fast movement, air, fountain of health, and of course the stone form. Bats though, whoa, about time focus actually. About time. Hang on a second. Of course, you're Orc, but they're on your side. Oh no. I was going to say, yeah. No, I saw those bats and I immediately thought, why haven't they been built? Yeah, that's because they don't have an Orc. Where's the steam tanks, eh, Mr. Beats? No excuse. Your base has been destroyed 3 or 4 times. No excuse. Steam tanks are quite slow though, so they can be kited around. If you've got a team that's coordinating, in 4 versus 4 random team, people tend to sort of just go in one direction. But a ranged team can obviously communicate with one another and just avoid the steam tanks as best as possible, much more easily with voice communication. Those raiders and bats though are going to force a town portal. Can he get in position to kill this main before he takes too much damage from his main base? Oh my god, you need a town portal. But he's not going to do it, I guess. I guess they're going to roll in. That might be GG. They're fighting this over here, and it doesn't look like it's going well for them over here either. Pandas are now at level 6. Actually one of the most powerful ultimates in the game if you can control it properly. Not easy to do since you very rarely have a chance to do so, but those Gargs finally got to a stage where they were massed to such a stupid degree that they can't really be contended with, aside from mass steam tanks, which we just haven't seen, and understandably why. Lich getting the last second coil there. Garg's pushing back, but... Is that the last panda? No. We've still got more to go. Okay.
The town is under siege.
Uh-oh. Good storm bolt. Well, that's a good try, but the town portal was more effective. Lorliet with multiple expansions, but none of them really capitalizing on too much money. Could we have a best of 5 where it's only played on this map? It'll be like 5 hours long. Yeah, Lorliet is most likely feeding just for more gargoyles, just to overwhelm the odds right now, because the gargoyles have got to that critical mass where they can't really be too contended. Like I say, there's only really tanks or gyrocopters that can deal with them, but the humans trying now with 3,000 gold. What? Hang on a second, mate. How did you get 3,000 gold? Did you just... Maybe the undead player gave that to him, to be fair. I don't think he was sitting on that much gold. Otherwise, where the hell were your workshops and all of that earlier? Aside from the constant harass, making it harder to actually build these things. Oh, here's your Drake. You're going to have to wait a while before that Tree of Life finds another expansion.
A player's forces are under attack.
It's alright, he's still got another expansion. And probably rebuilding down here as well. Yep. Panda just looking for kills. Pretty easy to stroll around. Ah! He's actually favouring just to detonate all of those wisps. Didn't actually have to, but he just wants to make sure that Panda's got no mana. But he has actually got a potion of mana. Uh-oh. Keep with the Grove. Got a town port? Yep. So the forces for Team Purple just aren't looking very good right now. They really almost made a comeback here, and this is like their last chance. It's just a huge, magnificent amount of gyrocopters. But obviously there's the problem. Again, it's so easy for me to say tanks and gyrocopters, but pandas are fantastic versus both tanks or gyrocopters. Pandas can slaughter them if they get the right positions with their breath of fire. Seeing as there's 3 of them, I'm sure one of them's going to manage it. A1 won their first game, and this is currently the second game, and it's starting to look favourable towards A1 once again. Whereas for at the start of this game, it looked good for them, and then there was a comeback, and it stayed that way for a long time, and now they finally managed to eke themselves back into the lead with enough sort of messing around, if you know what I mean, sort of like attacking left, right and centre, just trying to hit multiple different points, just trying to pull back all these odds, force town portals, just edge every little bit of damage they can do. Right, here we go. This is probably going to be what seals the deal, I should think. Although there's still not enough gyrocopters because he's out of gold now. But that's still a lot. But the Gargs, the Pandas, there's no way this is going to go any other way than for A1. A couple of radar kills is nice though. Pickoffs, that's a little bit extra experience. You know what you need? You need the Phoenix of Allah. That's what you need. Rise, Blood Mage. Do it. He's only got to get level 6. Still, it wouldn't do that much. I'd just like to see the Phoenix, that's all.
A player's forces are under attack.
Gyrocopters. They did come from behind. Watch out. So many Gargs. 99 food right now. The undead, though, as well, with that level 5 Death Knight. That I'm wondering he's gone level 3. Yes, he did. He went for level 3 Unholy Aura because he doesn't really need the level 3 coil, aside from being offensively sniping with it on enemy heroes. But he went for the level 3 Aura just for the extra speed because he was moving way too fast there, and I thought, yeah, that has to be. You can just kind of get a feel for it. There's no cap on Frost Nova, so as long as it catches the Gargs in their main bulk, it will hit all of them. Panda's actually being bullied a little bit here, which is the smartest thing for these guys to do, is to try to bring those pandas down before they can kill too many of the gyrocopters. The gyrocopter actually sees the Windwalker one, which is the one that you need to kind of kill because he can skulk away. The other two have to sort of like walk away slowly, and if you actually do manage to kill all 3 of these pandas, you will actually secure the kill and kill the hero as well. But at the moment I think they're a little bit distracted with all these gargoyles coming in, absolutely obliterating that army. Just massive damage done. Dane desperately trying to keep his Lich alive. He's already used a coil, but he's not going to be able to have it in time, and plus the Death Knight being flown up in the air. There's the GG, and that looks like 2-0 to Team A1. Finally managing to seal the deal. That took some time, but they got there in the end. Yeah, there was the 2 undead powerhouses, as you might expect, being the key components there to that game for the kills and just utter slaughter, basically. Right, here we go. Welcome to the finals. Typhoon is the map we are playing on. It's exciting times. It is now that the game started. We've been sitting here about half an hour trying to get this set up, but here we go. Right, it's the 3 Korean teams, so this is 3 Kings. It's going to be Sonic, Blue Night Elf at the top here. On the east-hand side, Mr. Winner, playing that risky human, and we saw what happened last time on a previous Typhoon map. What happened to the human? In the same position, I think, actually. So he's the blue human. And Rubber Bullet as the orc below. So, who's the other team? Well, you've seen them for quite a lot of the games I've casted, and they've been very impressive throughout. So, who are they? Well, Mr. Numbers here, we gathered a short while ago, is known as Focus. He is our yellow orc. It almost looks like he's going... No, he's not going Blade Master. That's a pretty late auto. Get me that Tauren Chieftain, Focus. Do it for me. Now, Lorliet, He is playing as the Yellow Night Elf. Oh, these guys. Right, believe is our undead over here, in which we have trust in. Cool. So that's the map. Typhoon. Those are the players. Those are the positions. I want to say a big thank you once again to a Grig.
Welcome to Free For All, the game where everyone's a fucking lucker except for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Will back to the future, will you wait there?
We're in the game now. We don't need to play Back to the Future. If I went Back to the Future, I could probably play the game whilst we were waiting, but that's too late. I don't have a time machine. So, big thank you to a Grig for sponsoring and making this cup, you know, able to happen. So all of you guys getting to watch this, say a big thank you to a Grig because he put forward $350 for this. $300 going to the winning team, $50 going towards the MVP. So that's the most valued player throughout the games that have been played. And I think I might be swayed towards this little fella over there. But I will have a discussion afterwards and sort that all out. And also a big thank you as well to Pelagian, also putting in a donation. Thank you there. And also thank you to Sweet and Overadmire, who have been quite patiently trying to make sure that these games happen, because you've got to coordinate with a whole bunch of different people, host with different bots to accommodate for their local area, which is partly the reason why we've taken so long to find this game, because trying to match a bot that can suit Koreans as well as the Europeans, it's difficult to say the least, but it is what it is. You just got to put up with it. We're not living in super ideal times where everyone has 10 ping. We're not quite there yet, so just man up, I guess, and get on with it. So, Sonic moving in here. Keeper the Grove. Going for a Wisp kill whilst getting a good scout on a base that has triple Ancient of War. Perhaps he's expecting to lose one of those Ancient of War, which is partly the reason why I think he's built 3 of them. Because he knows he's going to lose one. So one's going to distract him so the other 2 can go up. That's the only reason I can think he's done that. And that's quite clever, really. That's the reason why he's done it. Unless he really did genuinely want to get 3 Ancients of War up, but I don't think so. He's building a 4. Maybe he does. This is interesting. I don't normally see that many. It's always been like double Ancient of War. He's buying some time though. It is going to cost him a little bit of resources having to cancel that, and see some Wisps, but that's what's going to happen when you've got a Grunt, Blade Master and Keeper of the Grove in your base. Oh no! I think what happened is he double-clicked on all of his Ancients of War and cancelled them, and that caught the one over here if you double-clicked on one over here, because that one didn't need to be cancelled. So that's a huge loss. I don't remember that one going down. That's the Blade Master did that much damage. No way he did. So that was a little bit of a misplay, I would say, if that's what happened. So he's now left with 1 Ancient of War, despite starting off with 3. So that's how important it is to keep building Ancients of War, I guess. Meanwhile, we've got Believe going ahead with his tech. It's important for the undead to tech more than any other race, as we've seen, because throughout the tournament, you've clearly seen that the scoreboard's been filled with undead right at the top, because they've gone triple heroes, so they're getting all of the experience, which helps boost them up towards that higher score. So they go towards tier 3, not just to get access to like Frostworms or Destroyers, but basically so they can get those free heroes, which are really powerful. And the Orb of Corruption as well, which is a big deal. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, Blade Master going to get caught out here, is he? There's no... Oh, come on! Oh, man, he manages to... Yep. Hang on a second. Are there any Ancients of War left for frickin' Lawliet? He's had to lose all of them. He's got 2 that are finally about to go back up, but I don't think he's got a single Huntress out. This is insane. Meanwhile, the tech for Rubber Bullet is almost finished, so he's going to be moving towards Bestiary, I reckon, for a Coda, maybe Raiders. Got Rifle to start off with from Mr. Winner. You don't often see Footmen unless there's some sort of initial rush, because rifles are slow to get going, but once you've got them massed up enough, most forces you can comfortably handle, or at least, you know, do well against, for the most part. Focus, picking up Wand of Illusion. Again, I think that's a pretty good item early on in the game, especially when scouting's quite key. Sometimes it's used for creeping, but I think most pro players end up using it for scouting or for propping up their army rather later on. Mr. Winner with the Paladin. He could actually be a force to be reckoned with, that Paladin versus the Undead, because the Undead are key, as I've said before. You get to tier 3 and yeah, you get a lot of undead heroes out, so being able to put pressure on with constant level 65 mana Holy Lights can be quite devastating in the long run over a course of a big battle. Oh, it's Sonic's AOW. Sorry, I didn't realise. Apologies. I was going to say, I didn't realise. What was that all about then? Oh, man. That was weird. Either way, I got thrown off by it, so I'll try to catch up with it next time. Apologies for that. That did completely throw me off. Blade Master coming in, looking for something to pick off. Entangle on the same theme that the Blade Master goes straight for. That was good coordination there on that account. Does look like they've got a fairly powerful position. We've seen this before, the Paladin backing up the Blade Master, allowing him to just sit the front line for more and more time, which means more and more damage because the Blade Master is one of the highest DPS heroes. And those Huntresses might have pushed themselves a little bit too far. Oh, the healing light saves them as they back off here. It looks like a complete run job. Get the hell back. But meanwhile, my boy Sonic, not Sonic, Focus, that's Sonic, teleporting. I knew it. Yep. That's Sonic over there. This is Focus, this one over here, with his grunts and Tauren Chieftain just devastating this Orc base. Those peons have got no homes left. He's just made a whole bunch of peons homeless. Yet somehow he's still the hero. Right. Mr. Winner, looking for that level 3 for those super Paladin Holy Lights. Fountain of Mana would do well for you, especially getting 400 health on each of those riflemen. Big chunk of health, that is. Okay, Windwalk required. That's a necessary loss, I suppose. Well, an understandable loss at the very least. Look at that lucky crit there. Just one little tap on the Tauren Chieftain, and of course it's a massive 86 crit. We've seen those crits can go up to like 300, so you haven't seen nothing of what the Blade Master can do yet. Oh, Sonic's expansion up the top here. Looks like it's been caught and doesn't look like it's going to live for very long. And they won't be able to buy enough time with that expansion to do any real decent damage here, apart from maybe pick off one Huntress. Meanwhile, the rifles are being also killed in turn for trying to kill off the Huntress, so that's kind of backfired there. It's too much for Mr. Winner to take on both of these. And the undead spells, again, this is why undead versus you can kind of understand now. When I'm a human player, this is part of the reason why I don't play a human anymore in 1 versus 1. So I go against undead all the time, and they just devastate me. Because their spells are so strong, the poor human units just don't stand a chance. Focus just persistent in these constant attacks, causing so much havoc. Look how many players are having to come back here just to help defend. Meanwhile, we've got Mr. Winner's base in a lot of pressure to the undead and night elf forces that will be able to slaughter these militia. They probably want to run the other way, to be quite frank with you. Yeah, you want to run away. You don't want to run into that. That's not going to do well. Focus coming in for another attack on perhaps some more homes. He just doesn't like people's houses. Right. More. Well, it looks like the Korean team are getting a little bit muddled up here. Like they started off pretty strong, but they're starting to get a little bit played around. I don't think they've seen this strategy before from Team A1. I don't think they've played them yet. They wouldn't have, actually, because Team A1 have pretty much beaten everyone they've gone against, so if they did, they would be out the competition. So yeah, they haven't played against them. I don't think they would have watched any of the games that are played by them, so this is new for them to experience what's going on. That was funny. A silent moment for the Huntress versus Huntress. Just having a go at on the battlefield. Turn around, do some damage, get a free kill, and teleport out. Feels good to be undead. Oh, you might even get a second one there. Almost got a second kill as well. Alright, there's a Blade Master still poking around. What is he going for? He's trying to get a Kodo. Some Spirit Walkers out. I think they're trying to play like more of a game where it's about a huge army combined, mitigating the damage. But that's not the way that Team A1 play. They're all about harass, aggression, constant pokes. They're not looking for like these big army battles. They're just looking for constant mini battles, 1 versus 1 type of deals, or 2 versus 1. They're always trying to look for opportunities. Meanwhile, good opportunity for Believe to actually take some more experience and potentially get an expansion spot, but I wouldn't necessarily go for that one. It's just experience at this stage. Big old fight going over here. We've got a Tauren Chieftain, 2 mana potions. I've got to take note of this. He really likes his mana potions. How much gold is going into that? Shockwave going down. So much damage. Blood Mage is really vulnerable. Can the Paladin keep him alive? Should be able to. But how much more damage can the Blood Mage take? He might not be able to take another hit here. The Paladin can't get the heal in. The Shockwave finishes it. And the Town Portal goes off for Focus. How is Lawliot going to get out of this situation? Oh, he's teleporting as well. Watch out for the Kodo. Oh, he's trying to get a chomp, but he doesn't quite manage it. And now we've got more attacks going on over here. Believe is attacking the expansion of Sonic over at the top right. trying to bring that down. They are trying to respond to it in time. It's not the best DPS in the world, the Fiends, and he's not going to be able to do it, I don't think, but he can at least force a town portal. But he's got to be so careful trying to get out of this situation. Doesn't want to get ensnared or get caught. There's no ensnare, though, luckily for him. So he should be able to skulk out of this situation. The Huntresses might try to catch up. Destroyer coming out here. That will help versus the Spirit Links, if you can catch them. Just keep running back. Try to find that position. That is so many Huntresses chasing down. He's actually running towards the base of Sonic, isn't he? He's just trying to look for this kind of choke point, I think, hugging the trees, making it harder for them to overwhelm and surround. Oh, it's Focus in again with the shockwave. So good. Come on, Focus. Shockwave some more. Those grunts are so clumped up there trying to get a position. Meanwhile, we still got the undead toying around. Oh, Sonic's on the back foot. He's trying to get out. The Keeper of the Grove getting super surrounded. The Impale is just a surround. Looks like Sonic's forced. And he's got no town portal. Oh, a second. He managed to get out, but the undead spells say otherwise. So he can't town portal out of that situation. Focus managing to skulk out of this. He's not going to have to use his town portal because there's no raiders here for Rubber Bullet. So he's not got the units to actually catch him. He keeps going into Kodos. And I think he should try to get one raider because this is what these guys do. They are constantly pushing, harassing. If you can catch them with a raider or something, you make that much, much harder. Oh, the power of Believe is starting to come through now. Those undead spells, the focus of the Fiends, it's really good for him to try to build up his experience and constantly run back, looking for more and more kills. That's all he does. Just looking, that's what you do as Onion. You just try to poke off units over and over and over. The Paladin will make it a bit harder, but the Paladin is also going to be forced to use his Holy Lights to heal his own heroes or units. So if you focus the Blood Mage, you force him to use the Holy Light that way. Crit Lord could be in a lot of trouble though now. Although that is a strong coil, there's still going to be mana going back onto this Paladin, I think, soon, just to keep his Holy Lights. But he's totally dominated by this undead army. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side, Huntresses pushing on Huntresses. Does look like Laureate's having to get back because that is a 2 versus 1. There's even Archers coming out here for Sonic trying to get some damage versus the Fiends and potentially a Destroyer over here. But the undead, oh, that Frost Nova is so powerful. The Blood Mage is a smart pick here for Mr. Winner if he can keep him alive long enough because he will try to keep that undead under control because the mana does get out of control for undead. That's the last Holy Light. There's no more Holy Lights, so there's no way to heal anything easily. So now would be a good time to focus. Oh, hang on a second. There are more mana coming in here, so there is another Holy Light coming up. I was going to say it was a good time to take down the Blood Mage, but he's just going for the experience. He's going for the easy experience, killing the Rifleman. They're much more guaranteed kills. Obsidian Statue plummeting in that health. Can also bring in a little bit of mana, which I reckon he's probably doing when he can. Because if you press B and C, you can get both the mana and the heal at the same time, but you have to manually click it. Okay, this might be a bit too much. Might want to pull back. Your undead forces are being a little bit overwhelmed, but the Archers are really massed up. If there's another Frost Note, there isn't though. But if you could get more Frost Novas out, those Archers are a bit of a risky pick, I would say. I reckon Sonic... Did Focus do another attack whilst I was talking all about that? I don't know, but it looks like he might have done because Rubber Bullet's trying to recoup again. They recoup into the middle. Great idea. Only issue is they don't really have any way to heal. Do they have the healing styles from the Tauren Chieftain? No, they don't. Because what they would like is obviously a hero like a Shadow Hunter or something that can cast Healing Wave in this situation. But he might be picking up... yeah, Scrolls of Healing. Smart pick. Got to be careful of this huge range. I don't think Archers is a good idea. This is a strange play. I mean, maybe it works out in the long run, but... the Impale, the Nova, the Coils, the Mass Huntresses, if they can get a position. But I don't think they care too much about fighting these battles. The Archers and Rifles are slow and clunky. There's too much trying to... Look at them trying to kite around. They're not being very productive. Team A1 don't care about this. They're just constantly hitting the bases, constantly trying to bring down the food supplies so that they can just overwhelm them later on with sheer force. Another attack on the expansion. This one looks a lot more likely to go off. There's a chance for them to get over here, but I think the Huntress is mass. Oh yeah, there has to be a town portal. But even then, I think he might stick it through and just finish this off and then get the town portal afterwards. The Hex does help though to get a few extra kills in the Huntresses before the town portal could be initiated. Get the heal. Go, 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 go. Alright, you're alright. He's out. I'm completely impartial here. So we got Believe, who's putting some pressure on the east-hand side of the map alongside his buddy Focus, which, to be quite frank, Rubber Bullet is not too happy because he's still trying to rebuild all of his peons that have lost their homes, that are about to lose their homes again. Another town portal probably isn't going to occur because you can see the players are moving on the mini-map right now, trying to get into position because there's so many times they've had to town portal that I think they've run out right now. So this is a great opportunity to just pick off buildings, maybe even the main. There's a potential to bring off the main. The shop is here. I don't see anyone getting to the shop in time for a town portal, so that main looks like it's going to go down. Rubber bullet is out. The GG has been called, and game 1 goes to Team A1. Fantastic. Well done, guys. What a game. Welcome to game 2. It's going to be on Highperch, which I believe is definitely the Koreans' choice of play for a good reason, which I'll get onto in a moment. So at the top we have Team A1, Focus, Yellow Orc, Laureate, Yellow Night Elf, and believe Yellow Undead. Of course he's got to go Fiends, hasn't he? Where's that graveyard? There it is. Okay, down here we've got Rubber Bullet playing as the Red Orc. For Team 3 Kings, Sonic as Red Night Elf, and Mr. Winner as the Red Human, with the peon just watching. He's the foreman. He's just making sure that this peon is doing the work. I like it. He's like, good job. Oh no, maybe they're just taking it in turns in the same tree. It's funny. Okay, so one of the reasons why I think we're seeing this map is what happens is during the veto process. Again, you pick and choose. Each team picks a map that they don't want to be played until you're left with one map. And that last map is the one that gets played, which was Typhoon. Now, in this case, the loser team, which was the Koreans from the last game, because they lost the game beforehand, get to choose one out of the 3 maps that were left at the end of the previous veto. So, Highperch was one of them, apparently. And one of the big reasons why I think Highperch has been picked is because they've cleverly realized the strategy that Team A1 employ, which is all about chaotic harassment, non-stop pushing, non-stop destroying of burrows and homes and lives and families. So they've picked a map where it's harder to do that because everyone is kind of right at the top end or at the very bottom of the map, and they're kind of close together. So it's going to be much more difficult for Team A1 to do any of that kind of shenanigan. And bear in mind that if you want to get to the players, you have to go through the middle. You can't go through this outside bit because that's why this map sucks. It's just got a lot of dead space. This giant dead area is obviously from air. It's going to favour air more than any other unit because look at this. The map looks okay aesthetically, but I don't like the map for many other reasons in terms of gameplay. So I think this was a clever map choice from 3 Kings to try to... What's going on here? This is a very clever map choice from 3 Kings to try to deal with the strategy that they reckon A1 is going to continue to use. Boom. Okay, nicely done. Wisp's moving into this space, so he doesn't want to be too easily harassed this time after last time. Double Ancients of War going up, but a slightly longer distance to get there, so they know which base to go to, but they're not going to bring those down. Meanwhile, at the top left, we've got Tauren Chieftain creeping it up. Focus, build up those powers, get that shockwave to level 3 if you can. I'll settle for a level 2 shockwave, but if we could see level 3 shockwave, that's a level 5 Tauren Chieftain. That'd be great. So, of course, the Undead, likewise, taking the experience. It's really the Night Elf's job to either go AFK or to just poke at people. So the other ones, the Tauren Chieftain, want to build experience. And the Blade Master can keep on the Tauren Chieftain fairly well because you've seen in previous times the Tauren Chieftain struggles to stay alive. But that's if he goes Headhunters. If you've got Grunts, it's a bit easier to hold off the Blade Master because you can block them a bit easier. If you try to block the Blade Master with Headhunters, he just kills the Headhunters. So Huntresses coming out here for Sonic, although the pathing isn't done correctly, so he needs to reiterate that, which he's now doing. A Tech going in for Rubber Bullet, so he's just focusing on the Blade Master for now. Gonna get the last hit on the Sorcerer. And he gets the item. Well, now he gets the item. Oh no! Claws of Attack +9. That was not an item you want the Blade Master to snipe. Although this is a really nice round here. Very nicely done by Focus! What? That just sat there perfectly, didn't it? That was like a free grunts around, practically. It's great. If he gets it with the Blade Master as well, because the Blade Master's got no mana. They're going to pull in forces here to try to... Nope, they're not going to go through with it. He's going to go back, make sure he's getting his experience. He's creeping. But there's also a little bit of pressure here coming on. But the Lawlier does have his own Huntresses, and he can just hide his Priestess if he needs if the Blade Master keeps being what he is being. A douche. So we got the tech going through. Shadow Hunter. Paladin Rifles creeping it up. Paladin halfway through. Almost up to level 3, but not quite there yet. Huntress is looking for an opportunity to maybe pick off a grunt, but this is still really risky business here. Rubber Bullet has got a wind walk. He's going to be forced to use it before he can seal the deal on that cunt. Oh, I meant to say grunt. Excuse me. But you know what I mean. The grunt. I think I got to be excited. Okay, so level 3 now for Believe. He's got so much mana on this Death Knight. The Mantle of Intelligence, the Ring of Regeneration is really nice. So if he runs out of skeletons, he can still tank it quite nicely on the Death Knight without taking too much damage. If they're quick enough, they might get here in time for a really awesome Creep Jack, but that's going to be pretty luck-based because you won't know that for sure. Aside from the skeleton that's going to scout and give him that information, so the Huntress here might try to distract, but they can't distract Fiends for too long without taking too much damage. Still, this isn't the easiest to flank because you still got to keep the Grove, Huntresses, Rifleman, and a Paladin. So yeah, you can't really push versus that without everyone backing you. Okay, so tier 2 almost achieved for Believe. Still mass Huntress pump for Lawlier. Focus going towards tier 2 a little bit later than he normally does. So we won't get those raiders out anytime soon. Rubber Bullet going up towards tier 3 actually, going for Wyverns. So there's a definite change in play. The question is can Three Kings get away with their mass airplay? Will they be able to buy enough time? The Fiends won't make it easy. And this expansion attempt just did not go anywhere because they all grouped up and they got hit hard. And because they're teching, they're not really putting too many units down on the field. So there's always that. They can't really back up the expansion too much. The other Orc is just teching right now. Trying to go for the advantage of the tier 3, but he might not get that luxury. The game might finish before that point. Depends how much of a pressure they can put on. Mr. Winner's got to be so careful. He can lose at least 2 rifles here in this situation. And it looks like he's probably going to lose at least 2, to be quite frank with you. I'll be surprised if he doesn't. The Holy Light, though, it does help, but he hasn't got a Holy Light available. No offensive coil being used. Probably trying to save as much mana as possible for the... Oh, no, there we go, just to get out of there. But yeah, for the Fiends, just to keep the push going strong. There is a slight flank in on the left-hand side, but Huntresses can fall back, Fiends can go behind those Huntresses, so it's not the biggest threat. They got a lot of units, mostly Grunts, and those Grunts can deal with the Riflemen on that side. Meanwhile, the Huntresses and the Fiends can help defend versus the Hunts and the... Oh, is that a surround on the Shadow Hunter? That is not what you want. Shadow Hunter going down pretty early in this battle. That doesn't look good. Wyvern coming out here. I don't think Web is researched. Now it's being researched. Now the Wyvern has been caught, but... Anyway, the one Wyvern isn't too big of a threat. We've got Believe, who's still got mana left on his Death Knight to deal with these Riflemen. I don't think... Yeah, there's one Holy Light now. And this just looks rough for Three Kings. He doesn't even get the last hit on that Fiend. Oh my goodness, denied. This force for Team A1 is looking really strong. If they can get this round on the... What am I calling Blade Master? The Paladin, so many attempts. Unfortunately, the one that is blocking him the most is the Huntress with the least amount of health. That's just always the way it goes. So the Lich trying to reposition himself. Gets into the battle though, so that's an extra Frost Nova. Waiting for positions here. Militia being pulled in, but bear in mind that if those militia get killed, that's still damage to the economy. And I think Focus and Believe and Lawlier are getting so much damage out of this because, yeah, they're going to lose some units in this push, but the amount of threat that they're putting on and the units that they're killing just because these are forced to defend is just ridiculous. We've got not much gold, to be quite frank, for Rubber Bullet, and he's rebuilding his Shadow Hunter, and he's still got to get his Blade Master out after that. Meanwhile, just going to be more hunts, I suppose, for Sonic. And Mr. Winner is struggling with the rest of his militia forces. They're all being pulled off even out of the gold mine to try to defend versus Hunts and Grunts. This isn't looking too good. Team A1 are looking so strong right now. Look at frickin' Focus, tanking it like a beast. Paladin desperately trying to get in somewhere, but he's lost. He's hopelessly lost, and he's going to be... Oh, he's going to sneak out. Level 4 now. Where is he going to go with that extra skill point? We don't know. Spirit Walkers trying to move in. Mass Spirit Link all over these Huntresses, making it much harder to pinpoint focus damage on one particular hunt, but still they are very vulnerable and taking a lot of damage from those piercing damage of the Fiends that are already upgraded by 1 point at least. Frost Nova interestingly placed on one Huntress there. an attempt to surround the Keeper of the Grove, or at least keep him under control, but mainly deal with the Huntresses in my opinion. The heroes aren't too big of a threat right now, I don't think. And the Spirit Walkers are forced to go into their ethereal form, which means they've got to wait at least another 20 or so seconds before they can come back to actual normal form to do any damage. So they're effectively useless aside from putting Spirit Link on. And we've got freaking Focus once again beasting it up. Just doesn't give a shit. Now he's got a Town Portal. Leaves it to the last possible moment. 34 health. And look how many Huntresses are being picked off from Sonic. He's just running around like a headless chicken. We've got so much damage coming out of here from A1. Doesn't look like this map has made enough of a difference. That critical attack where all of Team A1 rather moved all together is one and decided to take out the expansion. Is that a surround on the Shadow Hunter? It is again. He's proved himself almost next to useless as Shadow Hunter. Still level 1. Paladin desperately trying to get away. Hasn't got enough time until nighttime to hide. Only 25 mana. Even activates his Divine Shield. Just so he doesn't get like Nova to coiled or any sort of extra threat. Just trying to get anything out of this, but he's put himself into a position where he's just going to get caught. But if he runs back to his base, he's still caught because he's got next to nothing. It's just rough. I don't think this tech to tier 3 for Rage and Bullet has really paid off. They just couldn't buy enough time for him to get much out of that tech. If he focused more on like grunts and raiders, he might have well been able to do it. But there is the quit. The GG is called, and there you go. Our finalists are Team A1. Congratulations to Believe, to Focus, and to Laureate for taking the victory there against Mr. Winner, Rubber Bullet, and Sonic as Free Kings. Congratulations to all of you for taking part. Thank you very much for everyone for watching. Thank you to Agrig for being the main sponsor of this event. $300 goes to the winning team, so that's $100 split to A1, as well as a $50 going towards the MVP. That's the most valued player of the whole tournament. And yeah, that's just been great. Thank you again for Pillaging for also helping to donate, and to Sweet and to Over Admire for helping to administrate all of these games. And I hope you had some fun watching them. All the video description, all the links will all be in the video description below. Check it all out, and I hope you had a lot of fun. Make sure to thumbs up the video on your way out if you haven't done already, and take care. Have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.